So, good evening. Welcome to Cub's Corner. This time, Cub and Greg live and Cat. But 2023. And I give to Greg because I don't feel well today. And I'm glad that I have a host here.
Okay, welcome to Cubs Corner. We are narrowcasting to Europe, Texas, the rest of America, and all the ships at sea. And we're always glad to have our people who listen to us, and we're thankful that y'all are there. We have my good friend Cub of Cubs Corner fame, and Lone Wolf Cub, and all his various other channels. And we have Cat Claw Entertainment, my other good friend. So
Hello.
welcome, Cub.
Yeah.
Welcome, Cat.
Yeah. Hello.
And how have you been doing, Cat?
I've been just rolling with the punches. I basically just acquired this house that I live in now, and I've been unpacking a lot of things, doing a lot of cleaning. I've been really, really busy, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been exciting. I'll say that.
So how are your pets doing? Normally
Oh,
on the
they're
other stream, we would get a big update on animals.
well, the two oldest ones, Seffi and Kiki, they're just old, pretty much. They lay around. They're doing pretty good though. And Edgar, he's always into something. Yesterday, I caught him tearing up the wall in the back room, and he's rotten, but he's good.
Okay, well that was our pet update for the year. Okay. Anyway, we have a somewhat lighter schedule. Cub is fighting some type of a cold, and we're going to probably have a shorter show, but we'll cover basically everything that's happening right now that
Hey, it's
Cub
the
finds
it's the
interesting.
it's the killer tomato flu. You didn't want to believe me when I tried to warn you on the live stream.
That's right, the tomato flu. He did warn us. Oh my God. Does that mean we have to eat more tomatoes? Does that, keep us from getting the flu? Because I eat a lot of tomatoes. Does that give me immunity or does that make me more vulnerable?
I,
I
I,
don't know.
I don't I don't know. We have to ask the science. Hey, we have to ask science.
Right?
No, you have to make a tomato test. If it's positive, then you know.
Ah, tomato test.
Yeah,
I like it.
A PCR tomato test.
PCR tomato test. What you people don't know and must now be told is that Cub makes his own pizzas. So I would love to see Cub do like a pizza making video,
Ooh.
but I haven't been able to talk him into doing that yet. But it would be awesome.
Oh, that would be great. He should do that.
It,
That would be wonderful. I love pizza.
No time for that. Sorry.
you're already making the pizzas. You just aim a camera at it, and voila, we have a star is born, like a Chef Ramsay, but from Germany.
No, I never just make not a regular work without trying to, for example, listen to an audiobook or something like that. I try to combine work together so that I get it done.
Right, but you make awesome homemade pizzas, and just saying. An idea that I've been pushing for years, and I'm going to continue to push until we get that wonderful video. And I'd like to see Kat make her video. Weren't you planning on doing one about the movie M? Was that right? I think so.
Yeah, that's been a good while back, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
If you
I'm going to
got
keep
me, yeah.
pushing.
Hey,
I think that would be a very.
uh,
Go ahead,
which
Cup.
which which was the name of the movie?
The movie M.
Him?
Yeah.
What is it about?
I think that the one
About the
what year?
child
Go ahead.
killer.
The
It's
very
from
first serial
Germany.
killer movie.
Mhm.
It's from
Yeah,
Germany.
1931, wasn't it?
It may have a different name in Germany.
No, M. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You
Here in
couldn't tell
Germany,
because of my Texas accent probably mangled it again.
no, you said it right, but here in Germany, the M in an English sentence goes under. When we say it in a German sentence, then the M is clearer for itself as a word.
Oh wow,
So
that's confusing.
I have understood them or him when you said M.
Oh okay.
I didn't figure out you mean a letter for itself.
Yes, that's what I meant. The individual letter M, which is
Yeah.
an unusual title for a movie. Not very many that are just a single letter.
Right.
Yeah, and in Germany, it has a subtitle which is called "A Town is Searching for a Murder." By the way, so it's not just M. Of course, the movie is called M. Yeah, but on most posters or cover or whatever, there's also written "A town is searching after a murderer."
And I can highly recommend the movie. It's a
Yeah.
very old movie, but it's very well done. Since you haven't made the video yet, what do you think about the movie, Kat?
Oh, I really liked it. It'll keep you on your toes there watching it. Really, I had it was well shot, very well shot. I liked it.
So, like the lighting and the direction of who was the star of that? I can't think
Oh
of his name, but
golly,
I can see it. I can.
Laurie, Peter Laurie.
Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre. Oh, he's so
Yeah,
good in that, wasn't he?
yeah, he was. He really was.
What did you think of the movie, Cub?
Yeah, it's maybe probably one of Fritz Lang's best movies he has ever made, and it's one of the best made movies ever.
Yeah,
Uh, and it is such a classic here in Germany that it is used in school books as an example for filmmaking. And I'm not talking about film schools or something like that. I'm talking about regular school. I have read about this movie as a child in a school book, in a German book.
Wow.
Just it was used as an example for filmmaking and storytelling. So for two things. Uh, some scenes were shown in the school book and some dialogue and so on and yeah. So it's one of the greatest classics here in Germany.
I thought one of the interesting things was it was the first time you'd seen the criminals banding together to capture their own criminal, a serial killer. They found it so unacceptable that they held their own trial. That's a very rare thing, especially this had to be the first time that was ever shown. And it was running a parallel investigation between the police and the criminals, so that you had the vigilante justice, but German vigilante justice calls for a trial, whereas in America they just the old get a rope, right? Throw it
yeah,
over the tree and and
yeah.
there's your justice.
Yeah, but it kind of created a very how can I put it in words that people don't misunderstand what I'm saying? The situation that this child murderer was chased by the police, by the police, by the normal people, and by the criminals even created a kind of um, that you felt even a little pity for him, if you understand what I mean.
I do
Even
understand, and that's a
e-
very rare thing.
even
It's dangerous.
yeah, even if when you talk about it like that, it sounds like you that the director maybe was sympathizing with the killer or something like that. But no, it's just the that. But by doing that, it was not just a chase after a murderer, which would have been kind of boring, because of course everybody is on the side of the police, and nobody's on the side of the criminals. But so he was portrayed as somebody who was against everybody, who had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and where you kind of, if you want it or not, you kind of feel for him a little bit, which is
Yes, you definitely. What the dichotomy is, you don't want to sympathize with this character at all, and yet, the way it's shot and the way it's acted, and especially acted and directed, you end up because he's so tortured. It seems that they make it like he has no choice. The tortured nature of his soul, combined with the fact that absolutely everyone hates him and is out to get him, and they are going to get him. It's only a matter of time, and he can't stop.
Yes, and also that
which he even says himself, if he can't help himself, he can't stop, he's sick.
Yeah.
But you can't identify with his crime, but you can identify with the tortured nature of his soul, and the fact that everyone's against him. It's also a very interesting look at Germany at that time between the wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also a very dangerous path, which is nowadays used as an excuse for all these criminals that don't get sentenced the right sentence or go free. So it's very, very hard to talk about this movie without and praising it for its achievements, without putting water on the wheels of these assholes nowadays, these SJWs and woke culture and so on, which used this argumentation: oh, these poor tortured souls, they can't do anything against their crimes, you shouldn't punish them, and so on.
I would say in America, it wasn't until perhaps the movie Psycho when you started to get the beginning of the woke culture or whatever, where the psychologist at the end of the movie is explaining why it's not really his fault and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Real Sandro says Guten Abend. So hi.
Ja. Hi Sandro. Schön, dass du da bist, Sandro 2.0. Oh no, it's not Sandro. It's the real Sandro. Don't confuse that, Greg.
That is confusing.
Oh no, I even think it's the update. No, the upgrade. It's not a real Sandro 1. It's Sandro 2.0.
So that wasn't even on the agenda, but I know Kat was planning on doing a review one of these days. And this way, even if you don't do one, we kind of got your opinion on the movie, and we got Cubs and my opinion on it. I don't think we've ever discussed that movie, so it was a good one to cover for whatever the reason. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else to Go ahead, Cub.
Yeah, M is not something a reviewer normally is looking forward to review, because you can very fast you enter deep waters, or muddy waters, where it can become very fast, very ugly. Because when you really think about what the movie, the achievements of the movie, and you see what is going on nowadays, that this is kind of used as an excuse that criminals go free, the psychological aspect. But of course, this is not the fault of Fritz Lang, or somebody or something like that. He just made a picture that was not just black and white. And it is funny enough, it is black and white, but this was not just black and white. And by the way, it was here the first, I think it was the first sound movie here in Germany, by the way.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. What was that, 31?
I think 31 or 32. I think. I'm not sure. And as I said, this is so most reviewer wouldn't dare to touch it.
Have you done a review on it?
No, of course not. As I said,
I didn't think I'd seen one. I've seen your videos, and I was trying to remember, and I didn't remember. And it's such a big movie in German history, and really in world history.
But I mentioned
it would normally draw a review from Cub.
Yeah, and I mentioned it 2 times. I mentioned it in my Steppenwolf review, if you can remember, or in my Kafka review, where I.
Yeah, you referred to it, but you hadn't actually done a review on it.
No. And the reason is exactly as I told you.
Like walking in a minefield, huh?
Yeah, well, this is really walking in a minefield, because you have to argue very precisely that you don't get misunderstood when you praise things in this movie which could sound like you are taking the side of a child murderer or something like that.
Well, let me tell you how I look at it from a Texas point of view. I can sympathize with him, but I would execute him. How about that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad executing.
I don't even know if I'd sympathize. I'm sorry.
I sympathize with his tortured nature, and it's good to understand what caused it and whatnot. And yes, I can sympathize with him being the feeling of everyone being against him. Yeah, okay. But that doesn't change my cold-blooded, ruthless, we need to execute the bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I see it the same way. But as I said, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why many good reviewers, many reviewers who really know what they do, don't take this task, because if they know what they're doing, they also know what they are going in for when they try and analyze of this movie.
Well, as a example of what I'm saying, before, there's a tradition in America and maybe in the rest of the world that before someone was executed, you would give them what they wanted within reason for their last meal. That's not because you're sympathizing with them and their whatever they did. It's just an act of being human. Yeah, and so as a human, you perhaps feel some sympathy or you want to understand. Basically, you want to understand it so that you can keep it from happening again. I mean, that's reasonable and it's understandable. And when you put yourself in someone else's shoes, you're going to feel some kind of sympathy if you're at all human. But perhaps not. Perhaps I'm wrong. because they've done away with giving you your request for your last meal, and I think that's wrong. I just I don't know. As long as you're cold blooded enough to execute them, then you know, I don't know. Like you say, it's a. Go ahead.
I can give you another example for a review that many reviewers are not excited to make a review about. Also, a very good movie. Has anybody seen here Irreversible?
No.
What was it?
Irreversible. It's the movie's called. It's a French movie.
I don't think I've seen it,
but I don't think I've seen it.
Okay, I have seen it, and it's a very good movie, but it has a very cruel rape scene in it. A very cruel rape scene. It's really horrible. Kind of really, it's really hard to watch. But it's part of this movie, of this art. When you as a whole thing, and but it's of course if when you have something like that, it's hard to explain why you call this even a good movie or something like that.
Yes, right. I understand.
Yeah.
Or maybe a movie that you have seen here from Pier Paolo Pasolini, the 120 Days of Sodom.
Oh, no, I won't touch that. I've heard all about that movie, and I'm good. I'm good.
And Greg, have you seen that?
The 100 what?
The 120 Days of Sodom.
Yes, Sallow. 120 Days of Sodom is what it's called, Greg.
I've never heard of it now.
Dude.
Yeah, but it is this is also kind of a masterpiece, and it's a hard watch. I can tell you, you not many people are able to stomach it.
Well, there's some movies
set in Italy.
Huh?
Isn't it set in Italy?
Yes, it's set in fascist Italy, the last days of fascist Italy,
right.
and it's
under Mussolini.
Yes, under Mussolini, and it's horrible. It's about a group of rich people who make kind of a party for themselves and have sex slaves and do horrible things with them. And
they're kids, aren't they? Most of them.
Yes. As I said, this is just. It's even hard to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like my kind of movie. You know, I don't even watch the Saw movies. I consider some movies like that to be what I would call torture porn, and it makes it hard for me to watch.
Yeah, but this is not torture porn. Not this. This is not, and Irreversible is also not torture porn, but it has some drastic scenes in them. There are really some drastic scenes, but also these scenes are too
important to the movie.
Are important. Yes, they are important to in Sodom, for example, in Salo. They are very important to show the decadence of these people, to show how the system itself, how ruthless it is, and it doesn't hold back by showing these scenes. You get cut out tongues and things like that in this movie.
Oh man, you know, I'm not against movies like that existing. I just I'd prefer not to watch them because sometimes that stuff affects me.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch this kind of movie today, but back then I was able to. 15 years ago, I was able to watch that, and I watched it. but also back then, I didn't feel well by watching. I thought, oh my God, this was horrible, and never rewatched it. So, but I know there are not bad movies. The opposite is the case. They are very good movies in the sense of storytelling, film work, and so on. They're very well put together. For example, Irreversible.
Well, then they're worth discussion.
Irreversible is told backwards. By the way.
Oh wow! I like movies like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Irreversible, huh?
Yeah, like Memento.
Like Memento was like that. It went backwards.
Yeah, and it's, but still, it's don't let us go too deep into that. I just wanted to bring an example of movies that don't that are very hard to review.
Yeah.
And the reason why you don't see many reviews on them, because most reviewers, critics, whatever, who have a sane mind wouldn't touch this minefield, because it's just too. There's very fast.
Well, in a way, we just reviewed all of the bad stuff, and we did it in our own classic style.
Yeah, for example, there was a reviewer who really who made a review on a Serbian film, if you have heard of that.
Yep.
Which goes also in this category, by the way. And he really regretted that. He regretted that years later. He still got nasty messages and so on because of his review. Because he liked the movie. And it's a very well-made movie, by the way. It's not a bad movie, but of course it has very disturbing scenes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these movies that you're talking about are actually considered under the category of like the most disturbing movies.
Yes, and that is what I meant. It's not. That is the reason why you don't see so many reviews on these movies. As I said, they are hard to review.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fascinating insight into the minds of reviewers.
Yes, of course, and
because I also do movie reviews, and Cub does them, and Cat's thinking about doing them. That's an interesting first choice, Cat. I might pick something else.
No. With M, it's probably not that hard like the ones that I mentioned, because M is kind of 100 years old, but these other ones I mentioned are modern examples. So they have, of course, graphical scenes and so on, which M didn't have. M is just the story itself, which is fascinating. That a movie from the 30s can get on this list of difficult movies just of the story. So you have, and that is also a thing that we have mentioned many times here on the streams, that this storytelling aspect for movies is gone nowadays. Nowadays, movies need this graphical scenes and so on. They can't rely on the story anymore, because the storytelling itself is not is a kind of a lost thing. nowadays.
A lost art. But that's because your writers aren't very good anymore. They're promoted for things other than their writing ability, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, really. But yeah, as I said, this was a nice journey into this dark
Well,
world.
the argument there is going from a meritocracy to basically where people are promoted because they know people or whatever, but it's not because of their ability. And we've kind of gotten, America, that we were founded like Rome was on meritocracy, and that's why Rome was so successful initially. But eventually, it fell, and one of the reasons was it went away from its meritocracy or rewarding ability, and it went to rewarding people's relatives and things like that. And in this case, it doesn't have to be a relative. It's because you're of a certain gender or racial group that needs to be promoted. I don't know. It's a crazy thing. I don't even want to get into the subject, but there it is. It's true.
Yeah, I'm just sending Jess the invitation that when he wants to join, that he has
Oh,
it.
okay. Did you hear from him?
No, but just thought about it in this moment and thought, so
Oh,
he
there you go. Maybe he'll show up.
Yeah,
Come join us, Jez. We promise not to talk about bad movies.
Yeah, nice try.
Y'all. Well, honestly, M isn't a bad movie. That's the problem. It's a movie with disturbing content. And, we're not supposed to be allowed to discuss disturbing content, but we are discussing it. So there is freedom. And I would submit that our freedoms are not gone and everything will be fine. It'll be all right, Hey, y'all talk for a moment. I've got to go refresh my drink. I need more rum after all that.
Yeah, okay, but what's the next subject or topic?
Well, let's see here. You want me to just pick one, pick a movie, pick something here on the list? You guys talked about Velma, didn't you?
No, we didn't.
You didn't.
And I didn't watch Velma, by the way.
I don't blame you.
But you can talk about it when Greg comes back, because then he has somebody to talk about it. Because I told him that I didn't watch it because I thought it looked awful.
So I didn't watch it either, Cub, because I felt the same way. It's like, nope, that's awful, terrible. Didn't want to look at that. I was like, nope, nothing I'm into.
Yeah, and I would say I have watched some trailers. Did you see this new Flash trailer?
What is it? Which one is it?
The Flash, the one where Batman shows up at the end.
No, I have not seen that.
It looks awful. You can see the Supergirl in there with short hair, by the way.
Oh no.
Yeah, she doesn't look anything like Supergirl, and the only interesting thing is just to hear Michael Keaton as Batman at the end.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
cool.
really.
Oh, what were y'all
sad.
discussing?
The trailer for the Flash.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just said I thought it looked horrible, and the only interesting thing in it was just scene with
Michael
Batman.
Keaton.
Yeah, just Michael.
Yes.
Keaton.
Yeah, I saw that. I agree.
Yeah, and especially the scenes with Supergirl. Oh my God, that was so awful.
And
She
they
looks
were planning
horrible.
on completely replacing Superman with this Supergirl character.
Yeah, which doesn't look anything like Supergirl.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, it looks even worse than Captain Marvel, and that means something. Ja, nice. Thomas Andersen ist hier. Ja, schön, dass du da bist, Thomas.
Howdy, Thomas. Good to see you here, man.
Yeah, Greg, you just went away without giving us the next topic. You are
Yeah,
the
but
guy
y'all
with
survived.
the list.
I was only gone for 3 minutes,
But
and you were able
barely.
to. We haven't even got to the first topic. You know,
Yeah.
Some people say we shouldn't have a list, but we don't just stick to a list. We go with wherever the conversation draws us. And in this case,
Hey,
we went here, we went there.
just talk for yourself. I go with the list.
Okay. Okay, so
As
the
a
list
German.
says, as German, the list starts alphabetically with Avenue 5. What did you think of Avenue 5? I've only seen up to season 1 so far, Cub, so we can do season 2 whenever we feel we should. But
Okay.
to let people know what Avenue 5 is, it's a movie with Hugh Laurie, who is an actor who starred in, what was his Doctor series?
House.
Dr. House.
Yes, House. That's right. And so he's the captain of a starship. And I'm not sure. I guess they take a tour around the solar system or something. And I'm not sure what the initial plan is, because they right away they get knocked off course. Go ahead, Cub. You sound interested.
Has Kat seen it?
I watched the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
It
so
looks like
she's
something I would
somewhat
watch, maybe.
So
is
first
somewhat
off,
familiar with it.
it's not a movie, it's a TV series.
Right.
And
Well, that's why I said season 1, Cub.
I know, and I was confused when you after that said it's a movie.
Did I say movie?
Yes, you did.
Well, I just finished a big glass of rum because we were on a difficult conversation.
Hey, this is a 100% correct German-inspired stream. Don't forget that, Greg. We take it.
I never forget that, Cub.
Hey, we take it here very seriously with the details. So,
I'm always serious when I'm on this stream, but I constantly make jokes. Go ahead.
So Avenue 5 is as you said, it's a space cruiser, and Dr. House is the captain. And in the first episode, there's an accident, and a mechanic dies in this accident who was working outside the spaceship. And then it turns out that the mechanic was the actual captain of this space cruiser. That
he wasn't just the captain. He was apparently the only competent person on the entire ship.
Yeah, that turns out later. First, it turns out that the captain is not a captain; he's just an actor, and got his instructions from the mechanic.
Huh.
And then the captain, the actor, finds out that his crew are also just actors,
which he somehow didn't know.
Yeah, which he didn't know. Yeah, but why should he know? He is not a captain. And he was playing a captain, and the crew also, the actor crew also thought he's a real captain. They also didn't know that the captain is not real. So it turns out that are just all actors in the important positions, and the ship is kind of run from some nerds from the inside of the ship.
Yeah, it's basically automated, and it has some people on the inside of the ship who are the actual crew, but not very much of a crew, because they're not very good either, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and so it comes, of course, what and would take 3 years to go back or something like that. And so now they are dependent on being rescued from Earth, but because it is a commercial space cruiser thing, they decide to just blow it up instead of rescuing it, because that's cheaper or something like that.
Even though the one who owns the entire company is on the ship.
Yeah, even so. To keep it short, it's like Futurama in with real life action. Futurama. This
It's not
episode.
as good as Futurama.
No,
Futurama has constantly funny jokes. I
I,
had trouble with the concept because you're going to have an extremely expensive ship up there, and you're not going to have a competent captain. You're not going to have any competent crew at all. That to me, that's a hard premise for me to accept.
no.
And
Yeah,
also, they have this passenger, the lady who's constantly complaining, and somehow she walks in and suddenly she's able to just walk past all the guards, and the second that she walks in they're announcing exactly the most secret information about how long they're off course, the things that they don't want anybody to know. She knows it instantly. She runs outside, she tells everybody, and later they promote her to be like almost a crew member, and she ends up sending a bunch of stuff out into space from the wrong side. And instead of 3 years, as Cub was saying, it's now 8 years at the end of the first
yeah,
season. But
I know.
I go ahead,
Uh,
Cub.
what I wanted to say is, it is like a live action Futurama episode, and a special one from the first season, Panic on a Spaceship Titanic 3000.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember that episode.
Yes, and it's kind of like this episode as a complete as a series, as with with 3 seasons, and stretched out, and
That that's where they stole the idea. That must be.
yeah, and with real life people instead of animated. Uh, of course, not as funny as Futurama, and of course the joke gets old with when you have a, a small funny idea stretched out to many seasons. But still, you
Well,
can compare it a little bit. Because in
I think
Futurama, also the rules of logic and so on, physics don't apply in Futurama, and that's why I'm comparing it to that.
well, I think the reason why they made Hugh Laurie, the captain, into just an actor was because you didn't want to have a competent white male as the captain and have him be looked to. You had to turn him into kind of a laughing stock because they could have done it differently, but they didn't. All the males on this ship are totally ridiculous. The females are pretty bad too. I mean, I can't think of one that actually seems like a normal human being, especially a human being in a life and death situation. They act like they're kids who are maybe 10 years old in a ridiculous play setting. And some of them, they even decide that it's all a fake thing, and they all run out the airlock. And several of them die, and then the rest of them, another four of them, decide, oh, we'll run out there too, and they get frozen and sucked out into space. Which, in its own way, is kind of funny because none of these people are likable, and I'd like to see all of them go out the airlock. But for me, I found very little of it funny. and I do not recommend this series. Although
It's,
it could depends on your humor, I guess.
I thought in season 2 it got better, but also
I
I
haven't seen season 2 yet,
I
so I'll
I, I
what,
could
go ahead.
accept this series if I take it as just as a sitcom. As a sitcom that has just this out of space setting, which has nothing to do with real logic or real physics or things like that. It is just a sitcom, like I said, like the episode in Futurama. They are on a spaceship, like the Titanic, in space, and very crazy stuff happens, and it doesn't make any sense that they are even on this spaceship. Because if they are able, if they have this kind of technology, why should they spend it on a stupid space liner? Everybody could have a spaceship on his own in this future, because it doesn't seem this big of a problem, space travel in their universe.
One of the things, like when they go from 3 years to 8 years, they're not concerned with how much food they have. That's kind of they would. This is supposed to be a very short cruise. How come they're carrying enough food? And we're talking nobody's worried. They all have the most expensive, luxurious food. If you're rich, well, you keep eating the very best, and it doesn't matter if we're going to be up here for 6 weeks, 3 years, 8 years, 18 years. Apparently, they have limitless food supply. It doesn't even come up as a matter of discussion. That's
Oh, it comes
ridiculous.
up. No, it comes up. This is the thing with the eels.
Not seriously.
No, the eels are they are kind of the substance for their food. I think they have, and also the ship is kind of self-producing everything that they need to live. It's a kind of a closed system where, and for example, they are protected from a shield of shit. Or is that not in the first season? Is that in the second season?
If it's there, I missed it. But it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, as I said, it doesn't make any sense. The things are just there for jokes.
It's there for the convenience of the story.
Yeah, it's not my kind of series, I just watched it because Jess recommended it. But
Well, that's why I watched it too. And it's not
didn't.
terrible. I mean, if you're able to look past all that stuff and you just want to have a laugh and maybe you like Hugh Laurie, it could be good, I guess. But the writing doesn't seem very good to me. The jokes don't land. You have like an arguing couple. For some reason, this is a major part of the early episodes. Is listening to this one couple. It's like watching an early '70s show when. Or early '70s movie or late '60s when divorce became prevalent and all these different movies had divorce premises, and you just have the bickering couple going back and forth and back and forth, and they hate each other and they hate each other, and you just had to listen to it endlessly. To me, that's not funny, but that was a running joke for hours of this
Did you
terrible
watch?
show.
Did you watch the original version, or did you watch the American dub?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's maybe because that's maybe the why the jokes weren't funny, because you got the British version of that.
That could be.
I wondered about that when yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. Next time you have to put on the subtitles, and maybe then then you get the joke or something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe then I'll get the joke. That's the secret, isn't it? Oh my God. No wonder there's so much stuff I don't like.
Yeah, but it's funny. I always say Brits are not funny. They don't have humor. And you are kind of giving my argument here right, and I am defending the stupid British show.
That's true. That's
Kind
true.
of it's kind of funny. Normally, I would have to sit here and just enjoy my victory or not.
Yes, you would. But
Yeah,
instead, you're defending it.
yeah.
And you don't even believe what you're saying. But you kind of do. You don't like what you're saying, though. Because you know it's wrong. You know how bad it is. Ah.
Uh,
Okay, so do we have anything more to say? You got anything to chip in on that, Cat?
No, I
Okay,
hadn't
so
seen it. I had just watched the trailer anyway.
if you do end up seeing it, you can let us know on a future episode what you thought about it. And remember,
Yeah,
don't watch the British version.
right.
Okay, so the next one is something I know Cat has seen. It's 1899.
Yeah, we and Cub kind of was discussing that the last time he streamed.
Yeah, so I'm going to let Cat take the lead on this one since I've seen part of it, but I hadn't seen all of it, and y'all two have seen the complete first season.
Well, I had
uh,
seen the whole thing. Yeah, the whole first season. That was clear back in November. My memory's pretty bad, but I liked it. It was different. Uh, Science
Well,
fiction, of course.
it starts with a turn of the century ship going to rescue another ship, right?
Right, right.
And so when they get to it, something comes from the ship which has been disabled onto the original ship, the rescue ship.
Yeah, which nobody gets, understands, or anything. Yeah.
And what exactly was that? I haven't got to. For
Well,
various reasons, I didn't complete it. They ended up not making a second season, and then I heard Cub's review, and you know, it kind of
yeah.
I
spoiled
hadn't.
it. It was like getting kicked in the stomach.
Well, even after let me just say this. After I have to look, but I had read that I can't remember. It's some lady that was in South America. She's an author, whatnot. She's really upset, saying the people that wrote this ripped her book off, and that everything you're seeing in 1899 is basically in her book. I don't know if she was gonna sue him or not. I think she was posting about it on Twitter at one point. I can't even remember her name. I'm gonna have to look into that
Kat,
article.
that sounds to me right. Do you know
Yeah.
why? Because in my analyze or review, I also watched for 1899. I watched the series from the same guys, which is called Dark. It's a German series, and
Mhm.
it was a hit here in Germany on TV. It has 3 seasons, and I was the whole time I was moaning about that Dark is a rip off of many other things, from Back to the Future, Lost,
Yeah.
and so on, from everywhere, has not one original idea, and is written like from a 12-year-old or 15-year-old little girl that has no clue how people talk, how the world really goes, and also put in her stupid woke messages in there, here about uh, n- not global warming here. I think global warming or something
Yeah,
like.
I think you're right.
Yeah, this activist stuff, and this typical little girl thinking from people who have never worked in their life for a day, and think they can tell, and also how the smart asses, the young people were in this TV series.
Yeah.
The adults were all had all no clue, and were also just destroying the earth with the atomic power. Had a huge anti-atomic power message in it. Even with her own stupid story, the atomic power had nothing to do with what happened. Because what happened was because of black antimatter, which explodes and creates this
Right.
time loops. But just because it's nearby an atomic power plant, they say the power plant also explodes because of that. And because this power plant explodes, every other power plant on the planet also explodes, because they all work the same way and are also somehow connected. This is the typical thinking of a child, or not?
Yes.
That has no clue. And also, in the power plant, I said this is a power plant. This is the real life version of the power plant from Springfield. Because the Mr. Burns of this power plant also, in the middle of the night, tries to get rid of atomic waste, and puts it on here LKWs, trucks, puts it on trucks and tries to get rid of it in the middle of the night.
Like in
And
a lake,
buries
do
it.
they have do they have three-eyed fish?
No, but I just was waiting for Blinky. But really, this is the thinking, and that tells me that the girl who wrote this, or the woman who wrote the script, because it's the same woman who wrote the script for this stupid TV series, Dark, also wrote the script for 1899. And also, in Dark, you have also everything in the sign of 3, of the triangle. You have everywhere triangle, and everything has something to do with 3 or 6 or 9, and so on. And
So it was antimatter was at the heart of it. Do you know the super collider? The Europeans have built a super collider, CERN, and one of the theories, they were trying to create some antimatter, and one of the things that they were thinking might happen would be that it would create a small black hole and destroy the Earth. So, yay, Europeans!
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
That's
but
totally true.
I know. Yeah, I know. There's even a Simpsons
Man, the
episode.
Europeans are nuts. They're afraid of nuclear power, but they're trying to create black holes. Come on, guys.
No, the Europeans are not afraid of nuclear power. Just Germany is.
That's
Because
true. The French love nuclear power.
yeah, everybody else is making new power plants because they know this is the
You
only
know,
way.
nuclear power, Germans, nuclear power is much safer, and Germany could be free from these crazy price fluctuations. You wouldn't need Russian gas or American gas. You could just have nuclear power, and Germany could be energy independent, which I would like to see. Come on, guys, build you some nuclear power plants. I know you're scared of it, but I think you should do it. The
No,
French are
Greg,
already doing it. The French are right next door, so you might as well build it anyway.
yeah, but Greg, the Germans are not allowed to build nuclear power plants, and they have to close the old ones because their masters say so. And you know who the masters of the Germans are?
Is
They
it
are
cat?
no, it's the Americans. and
Oh, then it is cat.
no, and you know that I don't mean the American people. I mean the American government, and it's also
The shadow government or whatever.
Yeah,
That's why
Biden,
she's here. She's monitoring us.
Yeah, but that's our problem here in Germany is that we don't have a government. We have just these assholes that are.
Hey, we let y'all have a figurehead government, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, but just
y'all get to pretend to vote and everything. Come on. The trick is you got too many dang political parties. You've got a dozen. When you have a dozen choices, you have no choice at all.
Yeah, but hey, this is just too depressing to talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. We're going to get in trouble. All that is parody, even though it's not.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's especially.
And Cat is not really in charge of Germany.
And it's especially depressive for somebody like me who is occupied to talk to a free person like you who live in free
Hey,
Texas.
the Yankees have occupied us for 150 years. You don't talk to me.
Yeah, but
we've been occupied too.
At least you got
We're
rid
occupied
of them.
too.
Yeah, but at least you could throw them out of your country.
Yeah, we could, but they're not that bad. They like barbecue. They're okay.
Yeah, but they don't have any say in Texas. Your governor made that clear. Biden.
Oh yeah, we're a little crazy here.
Yeah, Biden has no say in Texas, and that's why I really envy you.
Well, don't envy us too much. They ship all our toxic waste here to Houston.
Oh God.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, so
probably because of me.
To 1899, as I said, it's this ship, as you said, it's in near the Bermuda Triangle. It's the second ship because the first one 4 months ago is lost, is considered lost, and this.
And actually, it's stationary, sitting there, and then they find it. One of the things that Cub had mentioned previously on a different stream, Cub assumes that all of y'all are watching the digital pollution stream, and he's told me that. So I don't think most of y'all have seen this. So he goes over all this stuff, and then he doesn't want to repeat himself. But actually, I think we have a different audience here mostly. So one of the things he had mentioned, and this is a big spoiler, so plug your ears if you don't want to hear it. At the end of the 1899 season 1, Cub says that this all turns out to be like a delusion or a different reality or something. Is that right, Cub?
Yes, it's Matrix at the end. At the end, she wakes up. It's just about the woman, and she was plugged in like in the Matrix on a spaceship, on a space station. And
so it's on a spaceship.
Yeah, it's on a spaceship. 20
like a holodeck.
No, 2099. She's plugged in a chamber.
Yeah.
And
so is this like virtual reality or a holodeck? I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Yeah, everything that they're seeing on those 1899 turn of the century ships, none of that's real, Greg. Absolutely none of that's real. Everything you see there is non-existent.
She's on a space station plugged in a chamber with other people, and it's like in Matrix, where the people are plugged into the Matrix in their chambers.
Okay, you know what that reminds me of? Did any of y'all see the it was a series, Life on Mars from about 2008, which was a remake of something from Britain by the same name. So in that series, you have a guy from 2008, and he has a car accident, and he's thrown back to 1973, and he's like a police detective, and he's trying to use the stuff from 2008. The he doesn't have the technology, but he has the mindset and the abilities that you would bring back with you. But it turns out at the very end of the season, and just like in this, they canceled it after one season. At the very end of the season, you find out this is all in his head. He's really on Mars, and that's why the name of it was Life on Mars, because all that was like a dream or a different reality or something. I never really understood the premise, but
it's just awful, and it sucks balls, because the original series is also called Life on Mars, as you said. It has 2 seasons which are brilliant. It's probably one of the best pieces
but
of
it's British.
television ever made. Yes, it's British, but it fits the tone also much better that it plays in Britain. The American
Do you think they
version,
did they have German writers or something?
no, the American version has Harvey Keitel as a 100-year-old who is threatening somebody who is clearly capable of defending himself against him. So it comes off laughable when he tries that. But in the original version, this guy, this old policeman, is really a huge, tough guy, which gives you the creeps when he comes after you. So these scenes make no sense at all in the new version. And also this ending
But
with
you
that they really are on Mars in the American version. They just did that they have a different ending than the original version. That's, and also as a kind
so
of a
that's
joke.
not the original. That's not the original Life on Mars. The British version doesn't have that same ending.
No, it has a completely different ending and a much better one. And
Well, don't spoil it for me, because I might watch it since you're recommending
no,
it so highly.
no,
Hey,
I'm
I
not
found
going
that
to
article.
I'm not going to spoil it. And also the British version has a continuation series, which is called Ashes to Ashes, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Well, I'm
because
going to have to check that out.
because Life on Mars plays in the 60s, as you said, but Ashes in the 70s, like you said, and Ashes to Ashes plays in the 80s, because there a woman has the same thing going on, like this guy from who traveled to the 70s, but she is traveling to the 80s, and but we have still this police officer who is played by Harvey Keitel in the American version. And she has to deal with this police officer who has grown because of his adventure in Life of Mars, but is still the typical 80s police cop. And she comes from 2010 or 12 or whatever. So yeah, just small information.
Well, I guess that covers it. Do you have anything else to say about 1899, Cat?
Yeah, I found that article I was talking about. They're talking about a Brazilian comic book artist named Mariana Cognan. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that, but she's accusing Netflix of plagiarism with 1899. She says it's exactly like her comic Black Silence.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. As I said, there is not one original idea with this script writer, with this woman. She's a Dutch woman or something like that, and she showed in Dark that she has no clue what she's doing, and in 1899 it's the same thing. Everything is just there for show. It's like you watch something from Jar Jar Abrams or Bad Robot or something like that.
Wasn't that shot in German originally? 1899.
Maybe, yes, it could be. But it is officially, it's not a German production. Dark
Ah.
is Dark plays also in Germany, but
Well, I know
1899.
the captain was supposed to be German and the crew.
Yeah.
So maybe that makes sense as part of it.
Yeah, the captain was already in Dark, had already in Dark a role.
Oh, okay.
It's the same actor, and as I said, these hacks, like these script writers who write garbage like that, they try to blend the audience. They try to fool the audience. They use the Bermuda Triangle or threes and everywhere triangles and try to appear mysterious, even if it has if there is no thought behind it. For example, 1899. You have 2 times 18. Yeah, 9 and 9 is also 18. And 18 is 3 times 6. So you have 2 times 3 times 6. And 3 times 6 is the sign of the devil, as you know. And with things like that, or when you read 1899, you can 1 and 8 are also 9. So you have 999. If you put it on the head.
Nines are just upside down sixes. So that would be 666.
Yes, as I said, these hacks, they do put these things in to appear more important than they are. They don't serve any purpose to the story. It's just there, and then they want that fans interpret that the audience makes up the story for them. Say, yeah, and if you do that, and this thing has here, you know, Greg, you know what I mean? These hacks that write scripts that in fact are not really well thought out, and then the fans write the story for them in their head. And say, yeah, and he meant that and that and so on. But in fact, this is just lazy writing. And this TV series has many things like that. Everywhere stolen ideas. These 2 ships, of course, they're supposed to be the Titanic and the Britannic. And so the first ship disappears, and the second one makes the same journey, but gets this distress signal and goes after it, and also ends in the Bermuda Triangle, and at the end can't get away from there because of it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Because then you get many scenes that don't make any sense. You get kind of portals where you, when you go through, you come and end up there are portals to a different place or planet or whatever.
But you said it's all like a matrix or something anyway.
Yes,
so
yes, because nothing makes any sense.
Well, when you take away, there's no consequences to anything. There's no reason to follow it.
Greg, the thing is, this whole series could have been interesting. It could have really been interesting because there are very interesting things happening, like a ship. There's the sister ship, and the passengers get visions from people who disappeared, and it seems like it looks like that they were all, in fact, like a ghost story, that they were the passengers on this other ship, and that the captain was the captain on the other ship. And if they would have handled it as a ghost story, it would be very nice. I would be cool with that. Or like an X-Files story. In X-Files was also a story in the Bermuda Triangle, if you can remember, Greg.
Oh yeah.
And but no, more and more strange things happen that don't make any sense, because then they discover these portals that go to a different planet or something like that. And to explain everything away, to that you don't need a real explanation for what happens. Yeah, at the end it just turns out this is all a matrix which just plays out in the head of this one woman, and it plays in 299, not in 1899. So
Right.
yes, it's so clever, really. No, sorry, because they wrote themselves kind of into a corner with when the story goes along. They're writing themselves completely into a corner, and then they use this because there comes a time where really random shit fudges together. That you have like in a holodeck, scenes like from a holodeck that doesn't work well. And not to explain anything, they just went the easy road with this stupid it's just all a dream or whatever. Yeah, no, sorry, that's lazy writing.
So you wouldn't recommend it?
No, I wouldn't recommend it, because I think it's a waste of time, and I think it makes you angry like Lost.
I like
Hey, well,
Lost.
you're already fairly angry, so it makes you even angrier.
Yeah, because it is well made, but when you discover that, then comes a point after the fourth or fifth episode where you see there can't be an explanation for that. It's impossible.
So it's basically a waste of time. What did you think about it, Kat? Would you recommend it or not?
I mean, I guess if you have nothing else better to watch.
Yeah, I'm not saying
really.
it's bad made or something like that. Never said that. It's
No.
it's kind of well made, but still.
He's right. It's like you will be pissed off by the end, because it's like, well, it's just what he said about if it would have been a ghost story, it would have made a whole lot more sense. But all the other stuff, it got really confusing, and not gonna lie,
I thought it was going to be a ghost story.
I got so bored with it there, and at some points, and it was just, it's really long and drawn out. I don't know. I liked Lost, but I didn't like this that well. It's well shot, but it's not my thing.
Okay, so that's 3 thumbs down. It sounds like.
Like maybe that's why I don't remember it that much of it, even though I watched the whole thing around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Kat, the thing is, if you are not sure if you have wasted your time or not, you just have to ask yourself the question, would I watch it again?
No.
Do I want to urgently watch it again? And if
No.
the answer is no, then you have clearly wasted your time.
Right.
You probably do better spending your time watching Cub's videos.
I do watch him when I get the chance, actually. He knows I've commented to him in his videos before.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for that.
I'm just saying Cub's videos are more fun, and rather than spending 9 hours on this thing, I would rather put some of those on.
Yeah, that's true.
And I really don't rely on mystery boxes or something like that, because I think
he puts a lot of work into them. You really get so much information they're just so packed with information. I can't remember all the stuff he puts in, but yeah, if you have a choice between watching something really slow and long and boring that's going to end up making you mad, you might as well watch, Cubs videos, and at least you'll learn something and then get mad.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is exactly what I meant when these products, I call them products, these things that people like Jar Abrams puts out. They are shiny, well made, but they are hollow. It's exactly like the new Star Wars trilogy. You would never ever rewatch it. Never ever. Even if you watched it the first time, you thought, yeah, that was not too bad, something like that. But you would never rewatch it. And if you do, you would never rewatch it through. You would directly see at the beginning, you would think, but I know exactly where this goes. And no, thanks. So yeah, and
well, that's three thumbs down, I guess. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
Okay, the next topic is that 90s show, which is a update of that 70s show with some of the original actors, like Red and his wife. Did you ever get a chance to watch that 70s show, Kat?
I've seen that 70s show, but I've not seen that 90s show yet. I watched trailer of it. It was good to see Penny and Red again.
Right? And I've watched some of it, and they've kind of missed the mark for me. It's fun when you have some of the old actors, but that I didn't laugh at all, and I used to laugh at that 70s show quite a bit. It doesn't feel like they've caught the zeitgeist of the 90s. Part of the thing of when you're watching that 70s show is the zeitgeist feel, is that they kind of captured something. And if you live through the 70s, then you're like, oh yeah, it's very hard to capture something and make it funny as well as interesting. And a lot of that goes down to the actors you pick. The casting is so critical. They tried to do a British version of that 70s show, and it flopped hard. And a lot of the reason was the casting. I actually watched the original episode, and they copied the jokes line for line, and it doesn't translate into British zeitgeist because the British experience, like the German experience, is different. And so what I'm saying on that 90s show, like you said, it's good to see the original actors back. And of course, Eric marries his redheaded girlfriend, and then they have a girl child, and she's about Foreman's age, and she hooks up with the girl who lives next door, and they have various adventures, but they had a laugh track or whatever, but I didn't laugh once. For me, it was good to see the old people, the old actors, and they were okay and kind of funny, but they're only there for a little bit, and then you've got a heavy reliance on people who just aren't funny.
Yeah. You mean Brits?
Yeah. Well, the British version was awful. You should watch that just so you'll learn how not to do a sitcom, Cub.
Yeah. Hey, the British version was probably a science fiction series, because everybody knows that they are still stuck in the 50s. So a 70s show would have been a fantasy science fiction series in the future or something like that.
You say that and you're trying to be funny, but actually, when you're looking at it, it does seem like everything's 10 years behind Americans, from the cars to the television to the clothing to, the British are just stuck. And coming out of World War II, which, we won't get into who caused that, but the British had some problems. and they never really recovered. They kept their rationing up for like 10 years or whatever. And well, they had their empire, and their empire fell apart. Because of colonialism, and basically the communists went everywhere where the British were, and they undermined them. Well, the communists were. It was a whole Cold War thing, which ironically has flared back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So I'm gonna have to say, like Kat said, it was good to see the old actors, but I watched more of it, and the more you watch, the worse it gets. So I can't recommend that '90s show, and I don't think Cub saw that '70s show or the '90s show, even though it was on the list. But that's how Cub does things. That's how Cub rolls.
No, the reason why I didn't watch them is I can't stand these nostalgia things. These
well, you always have a reason why you don't watch it. I'll give you that.
No, I also didn't watch Stranger Things because of that. Because this 80s nostalgia, I can't stand that. Really, I have experienced the 80s. I don't need this crap. If I want something from the 80s, then I watch Goonies and don't watch
Okay.
a wannabe Goonies or something like that.
That is a good movie.
But when I put the Wicked Dreams of Paula Schultz on the list, why did you not watch that?
Huh? What is that?
I remember that movie. I watched that.
That was a few streams ago, Cub. You watched part of it and you didn't like it. So, but it wasn't because of nostalgia. You just didn't like it.
Yeah, that's what he said. I remember that too.
You remember that?
Yes,
see, Cub can't remember it.
Yes, the Wicked. Yeah, I know what you.
Now it's all coming back to you. Yeah, you can't blame nostalgia for that one.
Yeah, but I watched enough to tell you that there were partially Germans in it.
Yeah.
Who?
You did try to watch it. I'll give you that. Yeah. And that's fair. But I don't blame you. I understand the argument you're making on the nostalgia. And that's what they're going for here. And for me, it was, sometimes if it's done right, that can be okay. It's not going to be great, but it can be okay. Sometimes it's nice to go down memory lane and you get a buzz. You maybe have a smoke. You're puffing away. You got a cloud of smoke around you. If you watch that '70s show, you're going to understand what I'm saying. There's a cloud of smoke around you. You're really happy. And okay, nostalgia, whatever. It's better to watch the nostalgia show done right than it is to watch one of these horrible shows like we were talking about at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so I think we've done enough on that '90s show. Next, we have Velma, which, oh God, it's really bad. It's so bad that everybody hates it, except I know somebody who actually likes it. So I added it to them. I almost invited them to come on the stream so that it could explain themselves.
Yeah.
Have you watched? The stunned silence from. Did you see how stunned silence Cub was? What?
I don't blame you. It's like it's awful. Looks awful to me. I wouldn't watch it.
It's a Scooby-Doo show. First of all, without Scooby.
Right.
And how do you do that? And second of all, it really makes the characters. Velma is gay, of course, and Daphne is a drug dealer. God, it's hard to go on, isn't it? Who's our blonde-headed captain? He's like the worst version of a male you've ever seen. Just totally, just awful. I mean, I don't know. However,
and don't forget Shaggy, who doesn't use drugs anymore.
Okay, Shaggy doesn't do drugs. He's been race swapped. They've all been race swapped except for, of course, the white male who they turn into a total.
A total.
I don't know, worm.
Better male.
I don't have words to express how bad this guy is or how he's portrayed. But honestly, I can understand my friend's point that. But I think this could have been an okay show if it wasn't. If it didn't have anything to do with Scooby Doo. If they made an original IP and they had just like an Indian girl and her drug dealing lesbian girlfriend and
yeah, but
I
first,
just wanted to see Scooby Doo.
it doesn't even sound good when I try to say it. But see, she's trying to do something where she pisses everybody off. And that was his point. She pisses everybody off. The woke people are mad at her. The people who love the show are mad at her. And she cracks jokes constantly. I mean, he's right about that. The jokes, are fast and furious. They're not funny, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and but first off, this is not a show for kids, or not?
No.
It's not. This is not a children's show. What I have seen from it, and I haven't seen it. I just saw reviews and.
No, it has actual murder. It has the drug dealing. It has the gay sex. It has constant attacks on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is not fair to even call it Scooby Doo or
Right.
or to.
Well, it doesn't have Scooby Doo. There's no dog.
Yeah.
If they had a dog, I think they would kill him and feed the meat to another dog and call that funny.
Yeah, and also
I'm not kidding you. That's probably what we're gonna find out.
And also, what I have heard or seen is that the van is not involved anymore. The mysterious.
No.
Yeah, I've noticed
mobile.
that. Like, where's the van? What's up with the van?
Yeah. By the way, hi Joe. Schön, dass du da bist. We have another German visitor. He commented here in the chat.
I don't see him on my chat.
I do.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah. So for me, this show looks like what I've understood from the reviews and scenes I have seen. It looks like a vanity project for somebody, which has nothing to do with Scooby Doo. It is just a show that somebody wanted to make, and to slap the name Velma on it, or to do make it like it has something to do with Scooby Doo, is the only way that it got produced or attraction or whatever. It's like with Joker here in the DC here from the Joker movie, which has nothing to do with Joker. It's just called Joker.
I like the Joker movie.
So did I.
Yeah, I know.
It had important things to tell. So, I do agree that that's the only way they got this thing financed. But what I'm saying is they drew so much hate, and I think they've got a second season to it. So maybe the second season will be better, but I doubt it. But I don't know. I haven't watched the whole first season, and I'm trying to give it a chance. And there are a lot of jokes. Maybe it'll improve, but so far, not a fan of it. I'd like to bring my friend on sometime and have him defend this thing because he does it passionately and he really enjoys it. So it does have some people who like it. So that's something. And
the second season phenomena, we got that already with other TV series that wasn't a success, that nobody liked, everybody hated them, nobody watched them. But still, they got a season 2, season 3, and so on, like Discovery, for example. Even Picard, we're going to talk about that, and also Rings of Power, which was also a huge flop, which nobody liked. But still, it gets a second and third season and so on. because they need material for their stupid streaming services. That's the only reason why second seasons are greenlit even before they know if the first season is a success or not. They
Perhaps
need,
so.
yeah,
But
yeah.
let's go with Joe Ist. Is that how I say that? His comment. He said Stranger Things first season was great. Millie Bobby was awesome, and I think he's disagreeing with you where you said it was just about nostalgia. I think Stranger Things is perhaps nostalgia done right, in that it had an excellent story, it had good acting, and it threw in little bits of nostalgia, which is okay. You know, you
Yeah,
can
but
do that if that's not the main thing.
yeah, but I can't stand children in anything. So I wouldn't
Well,
watch it anyway. So sorry. And then this combination, when you have child actors and also the this wannabe 80s nostalgia feel,
but
that's just too much for me.
you didn't hate the Wednesday series, right? And that had children, although they acted like adults.
Uh,
Yeah,
I highly
I've
recommended
got
the
to
Wednesday
watch on
series.
that a little more.
yeah, first
Have you
off,
seen the Wednesday series yet, Kat?
I started to watch it the other night with my granddaughter.
Wednesday has no children in it. Please.
No.
Well, it's set in a school.
Yeah, but she's an adult. She's over 18. So what? This is not a child.
Right.
Well, some of the kids are they're supposed to be younger. They're acting like they're younger, although they don't act young at all. Well, that's a good point, I guess.
No, but in Stranger Things,
So you just shot my legs out from under me, you know. Way to
yeah,
go, Cub.
yeah, but in Stranger Things, the main actors are children.
Yeah, but
And
it's a good
was
show. I
yeah,
would disagree with Cub on that. Stranger Things, at least the first, second season are pretty good.
yeah, maybe, probably. As I said, I couldn't make it through the first 2 episodes. I couldn't. It's just
I'm
I
going
was
to try to watch
bored.
it because I've
I
got an interest in it.
uh, I was bored out of my mind and had zero interest in what is going on.
It's a slow start, Cub, and it's not a Michael Bay film. Cub likes a lot of action and moving stuff on the screen. Sometimes
Yeah.
you got to sit and let things slowly develop.
No, I like a fast-paced story with much action, like Cube, for example. And
Like
not
Michael Bay or like Ninja Turtles or something.
no, as I said, like Cube.
Right.
movie
like
Cube?
you.
Yeah.
Of course,
Fast,
I'm just messing with Cub
yeah,
like I do.
yeah,
It was
a fast-paced, action-loaded story, where every 2 minutes something happens.
Every 2 minutes, he likes an explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He can't
So
enjoy it otherwise. And nobody under 20 years old is allowed on the set.
yeah, so yeah. What was the next one? I think we have said enough about Velma, or not?
Yep, we have definitely said enough about Velma. The next one is a movie I added to the stream. It's called Lady in Cement.
Woohoo.
This is as you've seen, it's a Sinatra Greg. This is a Frank Sinatra movie from 1968. And before we get into it, one of the reasons I picked it was that it's also connected to a very interesting story Cub was telling on the stream the other day about the Die Hard movie. And the Die Hard movie had originally had to be offered to Frank Sinatra, even though he was 73 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Jez isn't going to be able to make it. No, that's my
Oh,
Wookiee wail.
yeah. That's
Okay, Jez.
really
You like
sad.
that? That's my Wookiee cry of pain. Okay, Jez. Maybe I'll drop in on y'all's show on a Wednesday, or you can come see us in 2 months. But yeah, Jez won't be able to make it, so we'll be able to just plow forward. Anyway, what I was saying, the Lady in Cement's a Sinatra movie from '68 where he's a private eye. It's a follow-up to the '67 Sinatra movie Tony Rome. And the interesting part was in 1968, Sinatra also played a detective, but this was a police detective. And that movie had a contract clause in it. I think it was the same writer who wrote Die Hard. And what was the name of the book from '79
Nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever, correct. And so the writer had anyway, it had a clause where it had to be first offered to Sinatra. And so the movie that caused that clause was made at the same time by the same actor, Sinatra, as he was making this one. So a little bit of an interesting thing. Why don't you tell us about the Die Hard connection, Cub, that whole story you were telling Jez on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's.
I've got to refresh my drink. I'll be back in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, as you already correct said, there was a contract with Sinatra because he played the same character of Leland. That was the name for McLean in the book, and it was also a story. The original Die Hard story had also an older detective in it. It didn't have this young John McClane in it. It has had this old, I think Joe Leland is the name of him. Was the name of him in the original story. And Sinatra didn't want to make these heavy action scenes. He declined. He said no. And that's the reason why they could put in Bruce Willis. So the movie could be made like it is. And the original story was also very brutal, even more brutal than the one we saw on screen. Because in the original story, for example, the detective, after he loses his daughter, thanks to this Gruber character, he just kills everybody who is left from his terrorist group. And there are really real terrorists in the original story, not bank robbers like in the movie. Yeah, and there were also women involved, and he kills also all the women. By the way, it is really a very brutal story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
And
wow.
Different.
Interesting,
Yeah.
Cub.
Yeah.
Is that different. In a novel? Is that what it's originally written from, a novel?
Yeah, it's the novel is called Nothing Lasts Forever, and it has the same main character as the story before, which was called The Detective. And The Detective was made into a movie with Frank Sinatra, and that's the reason why he had to be offered the same character again. If everybody ever makes a movie with this character from the novel, then he was obligated there was a contract that they had to ask him first if he wants to play the character again.
Can you imagine Sinatra in that role? And especially, with it being as violent, the book was more violent. The glass, his feet getting cut on the glass, and snapping the necks of several of the women terrorists. It's really hard to picture, especially when you see the detective from '68, or you see the reason why I mention all this. The reason why I added Lady in Cement is you had Sinatra. This movie was released the very same year as The Detective.
How old was he when he made that movie, Lady in Cement?
Well, let's see. That was 68.
Yeah, it was probably in his 50s or not.
I wondered, because I was sitting there and I was thinking, he's a lot older than these ladies in this movie.
Well, when
Oh
did
my
Die
goodness.
Hard come out? I know he was 73 when Die Hard came out.
No,
Oh,
yeah, Die Hard is from 88, I think.
So if we subtract, 20 years, I guess he would have been in his mid 50s.
Yeah, no, in
But
his
he
50s.
was definitely starting to show his age. I think the amount of drinking and partying he did really started to show up because he looks so young, just 10 years younger. You can see it. You can see it in his face. I was watching another one of his movies from I think 1980, The First Deadly Sin, recently, and he really looks old there.
yeah, he'd have been in his 50s because he was born in 1915 when he made that.
Yeah, so mid 50s,
Hmm.
something like
Yeah.
that. But he looks like he's in his mid 60s, doesn't he?
Yeah.
By the way, The Lady in Cement, I rewatched it and remembered why
Hey, you
I'm
watched
not.
it?
I liked it.
I rewatched it. I already watched it many years ago.
So
on
you want
TV or
extra credit
whatever.
for watching it before?
No, I rewatched it.
You're
And
begging for extra credit. You're not getting any extra credit.
no, I rewatched it and remembered why I can't stand Frank Sinatra in movies. That's what I wanted to say. I'm not
What
a
is
Okay,
fan
it?
of.
why?
Why?
I
Tell
thought he
me.
did a. Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear about this. Was he now? Is it because he was too young or too old? You do have an age thing going on this stream. You don't like kids. Was he too
No,
old in the movie?
no. The story was it's a comedy, and I can't stand this
It
humor
has comedic element. This is not a comedy, Cub. This is where you get confused. This is a drama with comedic elements.
No, sorry.
That is not
For
a
me,
comedy. It has comedic elements.
this was a straight out comedy because I couldn't take anything serious what was going on there.
No,
And
it was
also,
not a comedy. This is
and
a drama with comedic
and,
elements. There's a difference,
Frank's
a
and
major difference.
and Frank Sinatra's cool that he played there was just embarrassing. It was not believable for a second. The whole time where he tried to play this cool guy that finds a naked woman in cement under the sea, and just plays it out like nothing, no big thing or whatever. I didn't buy that for a second. And also the whole movie where he was kind of playing this calm guy the whole time. I don't know, for no reason, by the way. No,
I
sorry.
don't know. This is from one of the best parts of Sinatra's career.
Oh my God!
When he
there
was
were
young,
there were even worse out there. Oh my God! I hope he had another hobby besides movie making.
he had a hobby of singing, for one thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that turned out much better. He should have stayed with the singing. I think.
Well, Elvis was trying to follow the same pattern of being a great singer who became a movie star. One of the movies. Have you ever seen Von Ryan's Express with Sinatra?
Maybe when I hear the German title. What's the movie about?
It's about a American fighter pilot. He gets shot down. He ends up in an Italian prison camp, and then they go to transfer the prisoners because Italy is collapsing, and the prisoners take over the train, and they have to make it, I think, to Switzerland, and they go through Germany to Switzerland, and
Oh, okay.
and Sinatra is on the train, and is actually, I think, one of his best movies. I should probably put it on the list for next time. You need to be more
No.
educated. You need to be more educated in film, obviously.
No, I don't want to see any more Sinatra comedies, please.
It's not a comedy. It's a straight up. It's where you get confused.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear what Kat has to say about this thing. But let's go to me then. I thought it captured the late '60s feel pretty well. The comedic elements that Cub is complaining about, I kind of enjoyed. It had some ridiculous parts, admittedly, but that's the nature of a drama with comedic elements. It's not going to be a straight, you know, drama, and it played to Sinatra's strength. He's going to need to drop some jokes constantly, like Cub does. Cub constantly drops jokes, and if he was in a movie like this, he would demand that it have some comedic elements, so he could do his comedy.
No,
But
I'm just in
it,
serious stuff.
you did watch it. Did you watch The Detective from '68 with Sinatra?
I think I've watched it back then, but I didn't rewatch it.
But see,
So
that one doesn't have the comedic elements that you hate so much.
yeah, yeah. So I don't have any bad memories of it.
And Von
It's
Ryan's
totally
Express, you
yeah.
wouldn't like it because they're making their way through Germany, and they end up escaping the Germans. So that's probably why you got angry.
I think there is maybe one or two movies with Sinatra which I like, where he is a part of an ensemble. Is he in Ocean's 11 or something like that?
Yeah, he's in the original one. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
the Rat Pack movies.
Yeah, so that is one that I liked.
I'd say Von Ryan's Express and the Ocean's 11. That's his best work. But the Tony Rome movies, the first one and this one, I thought they were pretty good. I wouldn't have mind having a third one. I had completely forgotten about The Lady in Cement, and I just watched it recently. It's probably been 30 years since I'd seen it, and I was pleasantly surprised. It had Dan Blocker, who played Hoss
Yeah.
Cartwright, and I thought this was the best work that Dan Blocker ever did. He really sold the part, and there were little things that Cub wouldn't have even gotten. This is the reason why he doesn't understand some American
Like when
films.
he was watching Bonanza when they walked into
Yes,
that room.
exactly.
That was great.
You notice that, Cat, when
Oh
he's
yeah.
walking in, and they got Bonanza on, and of course he was starring in Bonanza at the time.
Yeah.
And you didn't have television shows playing in a movie. They did that twice. They did that with what was the one with Beth Parker? The anyway, they had television sets on twice. And one of them was he turns off his Bonanza show and he's like, "Hey, I was watching that." And see, this is the kind of little joke. This is little jokes that you'd have to be an American to understand. And Cub being German, these things went completely over his head. So, what would you
Yeah,
say about
and
the?
and also don't forget that I have never seen Bonanza, by the way.
Probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why you didn't get how good the acting from Hoss Cartwright or Dan Blocker was in this movie. What did you think about the acting from Dan Blocker in the movie, Kat?
Oh, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it, and yeah, there was the comedic sense. It was kind of I like that because you had a lot of murder and stuff going on, so that was some relief from that. I really like that movie.
It,
I'd
it
watch
gave
it
a
again.
relief from the murder and the drama. I thought
Yeah.
Raquel Welch. One of the reasons I put it on here is Raquel Welch just passed away, and I wanted to do a kind of a little tribute. I may do a couple of reviews of some of their movies, and this is one that I had completely forgotten about, really, and I enjoyed her acting in this as well. What did you think
Hey,
of Raquel Welch?
don't forget Barbarella when you make reviews on her work.
To do what? What?
Barbarella, he said.
Barbarella, isn't that Raquel Welch?
I thought that was
No.
Jane Fonda.
Oh
That's
no.
Jane
Okay.
Fonda. Now we've got to
Yeah.
teach you more about cinema. Oh my
Oh my
God! No, that's
goodness.
Jane
Hey,
Fonda. Jane.
wait a second. Here, 20,000 years before time or something like that. Is that?
Yeah, and if you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
discuss that movie, we could.
I've been wanting to see
She
that.
they did not they didn't use any basically any English at all, and they didn't use German. But what they did required good acting. And I thought for what it was, this little throwaway dinosaur movie that I bet Cub's not going to appreciate. I thought she did a good job in that movie. She
Hey,
sold that movie without her acting, and she was a young actress at the time and not well regarded by most
uh,
because she was just this sex symbol and rah rah rah. But
talking,
I
Greg,
could point to some movies that I thought she was really good in, like the Guns
Greg,
of.
talking,
Go ahead. Go
talking,
ahead.
talking
Hanny
about
Calder. Have Have you ever seen Hanny Calder?
uh, Greg. No, talking about
Well, it's a
things,
great Raquel Welch movie, and we're
things
talking
that
Raquel Welch.
people don't get, hints
You're
that people
confusing
don't
her with
get.
Jane Fonda.
Yes,
Ah,
I confused her with Jane Fonda, and you didn't get uh, in Shawshank Redemption. It's in the book. It's Raquel Welch, the poster that is used for the escape, and in the here and
oh
in
yeah,
the
Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, that was
yeah
the poster.
in the book it was the poster of Raquel Welch, but in the movie
Yes.
it was Jane Fonda. So
What?
Uh-huh.
yes,
That's not
yes,
right.
and yes, all the
Is that
other way
right, Kat?
around.
Now
But
run
I
that
think,
by me one more time.
but I
We can
think
tell Cub's sick today. He's getting confused.
no, but
That confused me.
It's
that's
Raquel Welch in a fur bikini.
that
Jane Fonda was not well enough endowed to pull that off.
yeah no, but the thing is that's why I confused these two actresses because in Shawshank Redemption, the scene with the poster in the book, it's one of these two actresses, and in the movie, it's the other one. So that's why I confused them.
Well, you're sick. We'll give you a pass. But Raquel Welch just died, and as a tribute to her, I added it to the stream, and I'm going to defend her. Boom, 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 boom. I could 100 Rifles. Have you seen 100 Rifles? Have you seen Hanny Calder?
Yeah,
What was the
yeah.
one where she got shrunk down to go into the what was the
Fantastic
one where
Voyage. The
yeah,
Fantastic Voyage.
Fantastic Voyage. There's three great movies from Raquel Welch, and she had some other ones in the mid '70s. I can't remember the names of them, but with like Bill Cosby and stuff, where they're running around in an ambulance. Anyway, she was to me one of my favorite actresses when I was quite young, and I always liked her, and I remember her fondly. And so she was
Was
pretty good in this movie. You don't have any complaints about Raquel Welch in the movie?
wasn't she also together with here the Pink Panther? What's in his name? The actor. The actor of the Pink Panther.
Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers. Wasn't she together with Peter Sellers?
Who? Raquel
Hmm.
Welch?
Yeah.
I can't
I
remember
don't
one.
know.
Because in the biography, she was here in the life and death of Peter Sellers. I think it was Raquel Welch or not.
You mean, did she have some sort of relationship with him, or was she in some kind of movie? I
No,
think she might have been.
she was married to him.
Really?
Uh,
Didn't
Raquel
know
Welch
that.
was married to Peter Sellers?
I think so. Or I'm confusing her with another very famous actress from this time, but I couldn't tell you
I
which
don't
one.
know. I didn't get into her personal life.
No, but no, I know that because in the biography movie, The Life and Death of Peter Sellers, you have seen that or not?
No.
I don't remember it.
Really?
Maybe I watched it, but I had a buzz. Can I take
Uh,
the Jez defense?
I'm going to look it up. Okay. So you can
Okay.
continue, and I'm just looking it up
She
because
was in a movie with him called The Magic Christian. They were in a movie together, and that's what it was called.
Maybe that led to some sort of other relationship.
no, it was not Raquel Welch. It was Britt Eklund. It was another sex symbol from that time.
Well, you're just getting all the girls confused.
Yeah, for me, they all look pretty.
Oh, jeez.
I just
Well, that's
can't
fair, I guess.
I can't keep them separated from each other.
But no, him and her really were in a movie called The Magic Christian, and Ringo Starr was in it too.
But there is another thing I wanted to add to the lady in cement.
Yeah, go ahead. We haven't heard from Kat yet either.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did.
Well, not. We haven't got your grade up or down.
I couldn't stand the movie, as I said.
What the hell is that noise?
But I'm a big fan of another movie from this director, from Gordon Douglas. This is the director who made Them, which I confused as when you said M. I thought you were talking
You mean
about
Them, like the big giant ants?
Yeah, which is called in Germany.
That would be a good movie for you to review.
For me,
Kat?
for me,
Them? I love that movie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. I love it too.
And this is
James
the same
Arness.
director.
Yeah.
And this is the same director, Gordon Douglas. And I just wanted to mention that I don't like this movie from him, but I like another one, an old one.
Hang on. Shoot the antennae. Shoot the antennae. Shoot the other antennae. Shoot the other antennae.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that. Okay, so that's a thumbs up from me and a thumbs down from Cub because he doesn't like the very light comedy. But me and Kat both agree that Dan Blocker was good in it. What did you think of Dan Blocker's? He was the big guy, Cub. What did you think of his acting in the movie?
Yeah, he was probably the best part of the movie.
Okay, so that's something.
But still, when in the beginning when he was introduced, I really liked him, and I liked that it was kind of played serious. But when the movie goes along later, it's more and more played for jokes with him, which I didn't like, because I thought he worked better as a character that you take seriously.
Right, and he was playing it seriously. I mean, the writing and the people around him were trying to make it more comedic, and I agree with that. But he never broke off from being serious about it, which I appreciated. What was your overall grade for Lady in Cement, Kat?
Oh, I'd give it a grade up. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so thumbs up. That's 2 thumbs up and a thumbs up down from a somewhat sickly Cub who's very confused today about
Hey,
what
hey, wait a second. Wait a second. The
about a
lady.
lot of things.
Hey, wait a second. The lady herself, the cement lady underwater, the naked lady, she gets 2 thumbs down from
Why?
me.
What?
Yeah, because she was pretty underwater and naked, so there's nothing to complain from my side there. So,
Okay.
Oh,
so the lady gets a thumbs up from me, but the movie gets a thumbs down.
Okay, so we
fair
got
enough.
a very confusing. That sounds like one of Bazzil Broketail's reviews. He switches from from 3 out of 5 battle swords to 8 out of 10 battle stars in the very same review I'm doing with him.
That's funny.
If you listen to it. And then he blames me afterwards. I'm like, what the hell? You keep changing your scale. I don't know what you're doing out of 10, out of 5. What the heck you're doing? And he's like, well, we should do it over. I'm like, nope. That's it. We did it.
Oh,
You're
that's
stuck with
great.
it. It'll be up for all time. Okay. Okay, so we've got coming up something that, well, you want to do Ant-Man 3? We can talk about the box office of Ant-Man 3 because me and Kat were not able to watch this movie because I don't think we wanted to. But
Yeah,
Ant-Man 3
I
Ant-Man
would
3's
say,
box office has dropped over 72%, maybe 80% from week 1 to week 2. Apparently, Cocaine Bear has beat it out, or at least bitten deeply into the Ant-Man's revenue, which, a bear on cocaine is going to bite.
yeah,
Right.
which is, by the way, from this horrible person that made this Charlie's Angels movie, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's very shocking because I normally wouldn't go see something that she made, but you know what? I'm planning on going and seeing that this week. So by the next time we come on, I might talk about it. Although, I don't know if Cub's gonna want to or not, but I'll just ramble on by myself. It looks like it. I saw the trailer for Cocaine Bear, and it looks like a fun popcorn movie in the brain of maybe Lake Placid.
I want
Yeah.
to see it.
I'm going to watch it for the stream. I'm not really interested in because I can't stand this person here, this woman, because of the Charlie's Angels
Banks,
disaster.
isn't her name Banks?
Yeah,
Elizabeth
Banks.
Banks.
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, that's it, Elizabeth Banks. Yeah, she's a terrible person, and
Yeah,
she destroyed Charlie's Angels, and I know,
yeah.
but maybe she made a good movie this time. I don't know. I hear good things.
Yeah,
And I saw the trailer looks great, and everybody I know wants to go see it. What about that, Cub? What about that?
I want to see Cocaine Bear.
Cat wants to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah, as I said,
even the people.
I'd go to the theater, rip, and watch it.
I'm going to watch it out of obligation. But
can you hear them? Cub,
yeah.
Outside, can you hear the chanting? The chanting outside your apartment? They're chanting Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Bear. And they're doing it in German. How do you say that in German?
Oh, it's the same in German. Yeah, cocaine.
Well,
it's called cocaine here in Germany. So
exactly, that's what they're chanting outside your apartment. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, I'm going to be fair when I talk about it.
Oh my God! Really? I'm making a note of that. Do you hear that, Cat? He's going to be. No, if it's different, you're going to be fair.
If it's good, I'm going to say it's good. If it's good, but if not, then as I said, I think she's a horrible person, but I also think she's a bad director. Sorry, because Charlie's Angels was so incompetent put together. if that's what she's thinking, what direction is for of a
Okay,
movie.
if
Oh,
this movie is good, I think that they probably had another director do it, and they just attached her name to it because the producers are Lord and Miller, and they're able to make decent stuff. But they, to keep woke Hollywood happy, they made a deal where they would just attach her name to it, and they would allow her to be on set, but she wouldn't really get to direct.
yeah,
That's what
probably.
I've heard.
Yeah, I know that Lord and Miller are involved, and that's probably that's the only reason why this movie is going to be kind of decent. It's the same with Wonder Woman back then, uh, because Zack Snyder was the producer. It was
Right.
still kind of competent,
That's a
put
very good
together.
example. So they
Yeah,
overrode the bad instincts of the director, and they
yeah,
actually had somebody else directing the action scenes and most of the movie, but they let her sit on the set and get the credit. And that's why
yeah,
when Wonder Woman 2 came out, uh, she took direct control, and it was terrible. Everything that Elizabeth Banks writes and takes direct control over is horrible. But when they just let her sit there in the corner and pretend to take the credit, and they have somebody else do the work, it can be good.
yeah. And also for me, this is she's a complete sellout because every project she was involved in was kind of activist woke project till now, and
Oh yeah, that's
now
true.
she knows that her career is in the shitter, so she takes this role of so-called or supposed director of a project that isn't woke at all or doesn't seem to be woke at all, just
Yeah,
to
that's
stay
exactly
in
true. I
business.
completely agree.
Yeah, just to stay in business because she knows with her way, uh, with the things that she wants, she's capable of or not capable of, she wouldn't get another chance to direct another movie or something like that. So
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
I completely agree.
yeah. So let's see what happens. And if this is a success, by the way, then her next project is going to be again a woke piece of shit, because we know these SJWs and woke people. They
Yeah, we know that.
yeah,
But the only time she's gonna have success is when she doesn't go that direction.
yeah,
And
uh,
also the fact that this movie is doing so good, it's cutting into the woke Ant-Man movie, and that's awesome. People would much rather go see a bear high on cocaine killing people than they would the stupid MCU because Marvel sucks. Any
yeah,
kind of competition destroys Marvel movies now.
yeah. Especially Antifa Man 3. This is really bad and boring, by the way, and has zero consequences on the story, on the overall story of the MCU, because they go in and come out, and nothing changes at all. And the Kang introduction we already got in Loki, by the way. At the end of Loki season 1, we already got Kang introduced into the MCU.
That's right. And they introduced him badly.
Yeah, but they mentioned that there are many other Kangs out there. So even this
Which is
end credit
stupid.
scene, yeah, and even the end credit scene here from Ant-Man, which shows us some of these other Kangs, uh, is pointless because it's not a revelation. We knew that already from Loki. So yeah, uh, there's really not more to say about this Ant-Man 3, because everything what happens in this um, quantum realm or whatever uh, is makes no sense by any means. Things
Yeah, I
just
agree
happen.
with that.
Yeah, the things
Okay, so
just happen.
I guess we should move on to the next topic. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
The next one is Vast of Night. It's a movie from 2019 that I added to the stream. And I know Bazzil Broketail wanted to talk about this, but he had some type of job obligation and he couldn't make it today. Maybe he can talk about it next time if he's able to stream with us. What did you think of the movie? Were you able to watch it, Cub?
Isn't this streaming on Amazon?
Yes, I saw it. And Kat, did you watch it also?
I watched the trailer of it. I'm probably gonna watch it tonight. Actually, I liked what I seen of the trailer.
Okay, so we'll hear what Kat has to say about it next stream. But what did you think of the preview, Kat?
Oh, I look like something I would like to watch. It's said it's in New Mexico. It looked like there was like a radio station. From what I also read, it said it's about two kids who search for a source of a mysterious frequency, and yeah, I'd like to see something like that.
I think you're going to enjoy it. I like the movie, but let's hear what Cub has to say.
I thought it is very, very well made, and it entertains throughout the whole story. The ending is fitting for the story.
Well, it's kind of set like a Twilight Zone type opening, where you're seeing a show within a movie.
Yeah.
A theater of the mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I really liked with the movie, without spoiling anything, is I know that it had a very small budget, but they made the scenes. They shot it in a way and used the scenes very cleverly, that you don't see the whole time or think the whole time, oh my God, they had no money or they had a small budget or something like that. It's kind of they used what they had very effectively and tried to entertain the audience with the story itself and not so much with effects or something like that. It's really like a radio play or something like that.
Well, a lot of the movie, you're watching it from the point of the switchboard operator, which is a young girl, and she keeps getting these calls, and then you're hearing stuff on the other end of the line, and it keeps the suspense building. And like you say, they don't have the budget to show these things, but you also have the guy going out and kind of investigating, and he's finding out about a previous. There's something that could be a UFO, but people are maybe interacting with aliens or something. We don't really know for sure, and I'm not going to spoil it. But I thought that the movie was very well done. I thought it captured something special, and I would recommend it.
Stop it.
Yeah, for one watch, it's recommendable because the story itself is just not my kind of story. This UFO stories, I'm not so much into that. But
no, not even if they're being shot down right over your house would you be interested in it. But we do have to get into current events, and this movie was picked because of the UFOs and because we had several mysterious objects shot down following the Chinese spy balloon incident. Biden told the military to be on alert, and what do you know? They immediately found several within a few days of the Chinese spy balloon. They found these objects floating over the country, although they weren't really floating. They were moving at high speeds at times. For instance, one of them was floating over Montana, and they closed off. I've never heard of this happening. They closed the airspace off around Montana, and it disappeared off the radar, and it ended up over the Great Lakes, which is a long way away. That's like all the way from Britain past Germany into Poland. We're talking a long way, maybe even into Russia. And that was in one day. This is not a balloon. A balloon doesn't move like that. And the jets that were sent up to intercept it, they said that it had no wings. It wasn't a balloon. It was the size of a car. It was moving without any obvious propulsion system. And they also said that it interfered with their sensors on an F-35 fighter. Now, perhaps you're thinking, well, that's nothing. Oh, that could be anything. Well, they said it wasn't a balloon. Even the senators who came out of the briefing said that these last three things were definitely not balloons. And they had no propulsion system. And what are they doing up there? How are they being destroyed? Well, we fired missiles at them. The only thing that could reach them is our most advanced fighter jet. Even when they went, the one that got shot down over Canada, it had to be our F-35. The Canadian jets couldn't engage it. So this is taking our very best technology. And even our very best technology was at the very edge of its ability to shoot these things down. So I was going to be extremely interested in the wreckage because I want to see what this wreckage is. And guess what, Cub? Guess what? None of the wreckage is recoverable. Do you find that a little strange, or that probably fits right in with? Oh, of course it's not recoverable because why? Why couldn't they recover any of the wreckage? Guess what? Now, what do you think about this series of incidents, Kat?
Oh, that stuff's crazy. And it was 3 objects that they shot down. And I'm going to read this quote here. Okay. A Pentagon official on Sunday said they could not rule out extraterrestrial life related to the 3 objects. A notion that the White House refuted a day later, and for a time, so little was known about the UFOs. The officials could only describe them as objects without getting more specific. I'm just going to say this. Too many people seeing too many things. They know what it is. They're just going to sit there and be like, oh, it's nothing to see here. Just move along, folks. They know. The government always knows. They've known all along every time that something like this. They all do it. They just sweep it under the rug and treat us like we're stupid. Oh no. It was just it was just a balloon. It was something. It's bullshit, whatever.
You notice on the first object, which we know was a Chinese spy balloon, they raced people out there and they were able to recover the stuff, and we have the stuff. And it's very important because this could be, who knows, endangering the national security. Well, guess what? In all 3 of these other objects, apparently we can't find anything. Nothing. And as a matter of fact, we're no longer looking. Why do you think we're no longer looking?
Because they've already recovered it. That's why we're no longer looking. That's why they're saying that, because the government already has it.
I think
I'm asking Cub.
Here, the alternate media that I consume, all of them, and me also, have the opinion that this is completely made up by the government as a distraction story for something else. They want to distract people with the possibility that there could be an alien invasion or something like that. It's just fear mongering, nothing more. We don't believe that these were real UFOs or something like that. This is a distraction from the government, because if there were really UFOs, the military that you cited, Cat, would have never ruled out would have never said we can't rule out alien whatsoever. He said that on purpose because he knew when the government says we think it could maybe even be aliens, that the people they don't believe the government. They would think, oh, that they try to hide something or whatever, but it's as I said, this is just
Well, that's certainly a possibility, Cub. There is another possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is that these objects, I don't know that they're alien. I don't know that they're transdimensional. I don't know that they're from a previous civilization that is still around. Because if you look at something like Puma Punka, then you see there's some impossible stuff. Just look at what was built up there in South America. We have stones that were cut with lasers, and this was done hundreds or thousands of years ago, Cub, and they're
Yep.
still sitting there. These H blocks, and that's not from some current government trying to distract us with. No, your explanation doesn't work for all the evidence. What about this cockpit videos, which show these same Tic Tac objects, and they show that they're the exact same as we see described, and they're zooming away at speeds that our jets can't match. Mach 5, Mach 6, Mach 8, Mach 9. It's just ridiculous speed.
Greg, the problem is that the information that is provided to you comes from the media that is owned from the government. And
okay, what about the Puma Punka site? That's not from the media or whatever. This is a site that you can go visit and you can see these laser cut stones. What about that?
Okay, but
they're thousands of years old. Where did that come from?
This has nothing to do with what happened last week.
But it could have something to do with it. It could all be connected. And that doesn't mean that look, you could be right as well as this being right, because the government would already know about these things. They're not, shocked. No, they would have decided to engage them for a reason. Why do they choose to engage them at this time? Very probably for the reason that you gave, Cub. You can have both of us being right. We can be right that there's some sort of things up there flying around, and they already knew about this, obviously, for decades, and they decide to engage them. Why? Because they need a distraction at this time. So you can be right, and we can be right at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying,
and it doesn't have to be alien. It could be transdimensional. It could be time travelers. It could be, I don't know what it is, but it's beyond our technology, clearly. If it doesn't have wings, and it doesn't have propulsion systems, and it's able to disappear off our most advanced radar, and our F-35 pilots are telling us that, it interfered with our sensors while we're up there, I don't think that pilot's lying. I think that pilot's telling the truth.
Maybe, I don't know. As I said,
I
don't trust anything what comes from government, military, press, or media, whatever. I think
I understand, and you could be right, and you're right to mistrust it, and there would be a reason, and the reason why they would release that information is precisely the reason that you gave, Cub. So yes, you're right. I'm right. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
Because
we have.
My problem is that this military guy, he mentioned something with aliens, and they would never mention that if he didn't want to put this thought out.
He was directly questioned about the aliens. They questioned him constantly. They had to respond to that, Cub. They couldn't just ignore it. And of course, he was asked about it because
he couldn't just ignore it like the Biden ignored
because the information
about his son.
They couldn't say it was a weather balloon this time, Cub. They tried that over and over. I'm just saying, ironically, you would be right. it is the government using whatever these things are. It could be Rick and Morty up there, and Rick and Morty got shot down. You know,
Yeah.
they've got their little spacecraft, and they're running around, and Rick got shot down by the government.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
come on! I know you're a Rick and Morty fan.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. But as I
Well, I
said,
don't know either, but we cover current events, and we got another current event to cover, and this is a kind of a personal one. We've got BlackRock has several train derailments. One of them in Ohio that dumped all kinds of toxic chemicals. And these toxic chemicals were lit on fire because that's the safest way to dispose of them up there, I guess.
Like,
What do
who
you think about the
decided
whole?
that?
What do you think about the whole toxic chemical derailment, Cat?
Oh my God, it's a mess. It really is. Like, that's my whole question too about that. Who decided that was the best idea to just go ahead and set those on fire? Like, was it the EPA?
Well, I can tell you one of the things you do out on an oil rig. They gave it. I still got my flare gun from back in the day. One of the things you can do when you have a toxic gas release is you can fire your flare gun into it.
Ooh,
You know how fun that.
first off, what we are talking about is what happened on the 2nd of February, from the 2nd to the 3rd in East Palestine, Ohio.
Yeah, wheel bearing failed on there, and that's what caused the accident, the spill.
Yeah, and that is a thing that I
What
think.
exactly caused it, Cat?
A wheel bearing failed,
Ah,
and that's what caused it to derail, because it got too hot and locked up.
yeah. Okay.
That'll
And
do it
and
too.
well, what happened the other two times? This is like the third major derailment by up there recently.
I didn't know that. I had only heard about the one.
Yeah, Cub sent me a thing where where there's been three of them. Is that right,
Oh,
Cub?
wow.
Yeah, and also this one in East Palestine is the biggest toxic what you call it,
Spill?
catastrophe ever worldwide. This is bigger than Seveso or these really popular
Chernobyl?
ones. No.
You know what really sucks about that is they got
Chernobyl
2 million gallons of that toxic waste is coming right down here by me, 10 miles away from my house. They've already brought 500,000 gallons of it in, and apparently we're going to dispose of it, but they won't say how. Probably by burning, and it'll release it, and it'll blow right over my house.
Yeah, and that derailment here in Ohio, it was 100% preventable. If they knew that it was smoking and not doing well before this, and they could have changed it and prevented the whole thing.
Oh my God!
Changing
Really?
the wheel bearing. Yes, it's all it was. Just change the fucking wheel bearing, and everything would have been fine.
Yeah,
But
they even made
cheap
a
bastard.
movie. They even made a movie about it 1 year before on Netflix. And the movie plays, by the way, in East Palestine. And even some people from East Palestine are in the movie about
What's it
Oh
called?
wow!
exactly
What's the movie?
It's about a train that has toxic waste, toxic whatever on it, and it crashes together with an truck and explodes, and everything is what do you call it? I can't say it so good in English. They at first say after 5 days they say it's safe again, and the people come back in this movie, but then they discover it's not safe, like they said. And it's kind of the same
White
thing.
Noise.
White Noise.
Yeah.
No, not
White Noise?
That's
Isn't
what
that
it
about
says.
ghosts?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. And that 22,
Is it a
2022
different
film,
movie?
White Noise, based on Don
Yes.
DeLeo's
Yeah. White
novel,
Noise.
evacuated their hot home after a train crash leads to what's called the airborne toxic event. Yeah, that's the movie.
Yes, White Noise. Because there's another White Noise movie that I'm confusing it with.
Right.
I am
Right.
too. I'm thinking about the other
Yeah.
one with the.
Yeah, the other one. But it's
Well, why in
also
the hell?
called White Noise. But the book is from 1981 or something like that. So, but the movie plays in East Palestine, and even some people from East Palestine are in the movie, and it shows this train accident, and and this was last year, so it's kind of an interesting coincidence, or don't you think so?
Yeah, it's a spooky coincidence. But why in the hell would you take 2 million gallons of toxic waste and ship it to a community of over 6 million people to dispose of it? Why are they always moving the toxic waste here to Houston? I don't like it.
Yeah. There are many things that don't make any sense, and in the
I mean,
news,
it can contaminate the groundwater. The air. Why? I don't understand why you don't send it to a more remote location.
yeah, and why send it anywhere? That's my
Yeah,
question.
keep it up north. They can keep it. It's their mess. I don't want it. I don't want it shipped anywhere, really. But if you're going to ship it somewhere, ship it off to the, some place that's deserted, right? We've got massive deserts and stuff like that. Why send it to one of the most populated places in the frickin' Western Hemisphere? To me, that doesn't make sense. And they didn't even tell us about it. The Ohio EPA decided to do some backroom deal, and they shipped it down here, and we didn't even know about it until like last night. And then they suspended the shipments for like 24 hours, and while they pay everybody off, basically all Democrats and stuff, they're counting their money, and then they're going to be like,
yeah, but it makes sense.
I tell you, the Biden administration is corrupt as hell.
Yeah, but it makes sense if you are a Democrat and you send it somewhere where
with Republicans,
more
I know
Republicans, then it makes sense or not.
I'm not. I understand. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and that's the problem with this government, that it hates its own people. It's like here in Germany. It's the same thing. The government hates their own people, and they would do the same thing with us. I can tell you. So you really
that's what I told you. Is Texas has been occupied for 150 years. You're complaining about being occupied over there. You don't get 2 million gallons of toxic waste shipped in, do you?
Yeah.
And you're complaining to me. You're whining and crying, and I've got to deal with all this toxic waste they're shipping in. So don't be crying to me anymore.
Yeah. Get rid of the stupid government, please. Get rid
Hey,
of.
It's not my government. Texas wouldn't be doing this stuff.
I know. Oh goodness.
Texas has to get rid
Hey,
of.
You gotta laugh or cry.
Independent.
You gotta laugh or cry. I choose to laugh. It is serious, and it is happening, and there probably are some kind of crazy UFOs, and the trains are, derailing all over the place, and we've got a major war in Europe and possible nuclear war. But I'm enjoying Picard season 3.
Oh yeah. Right on, Greg.
Thank you. And that is one of the last things on our list. We got that and only one more. But I tell you, me and Cub have been
we
picking.
got 2 more.
Do we?
Yeah, we got Picard season 3, Knock at the Cabin, and Marlowe.
No, Marlow
You
we
didn't.
scratched
Mark
from the list.
Cub
I have
already
to,
scratched that from the list.
Oh, did not know.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it is not available in a watchable quality.
Okay.
Right,
It's too
because it's
bad.
not relevant or something.
Yeah, and no, and Knock Off the Cabin. I'm the only one who watched it, so doesn't make sense that we talk about that either.
It does
I
make
do.
sense that we talk about it. Me and
Well, I'm
Kat
gonna watch
consider an
it.
ooh at all. Nobody on this stream has heard about it before.
Yeah,
You're gonna
so
knock that off the. You want to knock that off
yeah.
the list too, and just make it Picard for the last item?
Hey, I can just sum it up and say it's a stupid movie. Don't watch it. It sucks. That's my
Really?
review on Knock Off the
Then why would we even watch it?
Cabin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the very last thing on our list, and we've been going, well, 2 hours and 42 minutes. So we've put in a pretty good show. Considering Cub is sick today, and we're dealing with UFOs and toxic waste and all that over America, we're
Yeah,
doing pretty good here.
yeah, the constant talk about the stupid UFOs does make me sick. Yeah.
Aw. Well, you don't have them over there. We got them floating over our houses over here. We're gonna
They
have
would
to add
never
a UFO.
they would never dare to visit Germany. You know
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the last item on the list, since Cub has just eliminated everything else, is Picard season 3. And for the last 2 years, me and Cub have been just tearing the Picard series apart because it's so terrible. And also everything from this terrible showrunner Kurtzman. The Discovery series is absolutely horrible. And one of the things, Strange New Worlds, which came out last year, me and Cub actually had a disagreement about because I found that out of the 10 episodes, I found about 3 of them that I thought were actually watchable. And that's the first time in 15 years that there was anything, or 20 years, that there was anything I could recommend on the Star Trek series. And of course, Cub disagreed vehemently, and nothing was worth watching. But I saw it as a possible turn in the Star Trek franchises, and I thought it might be a positive indication for Picard season 3. And let's see what. Have you had a chance to watch any of Picard season 3, Cat, or the
No,
preview?
I do not have Paramount Plus, and that is why I've never watched any of it. But I did watch the season 3 trailer.
Okay, so you haven't missed anything except a couple of good episodes on. I wouldn't even call them good, but definitely an improvement on Strange New Worlds. What did you think of the season 3 promos? Did you ever watch the Next Generation, Cat?
I sure did. I watched the original Star Trek, and I watched Next Generation. I watched oh god, what was the other ones that were offshoots besides Next? Deep
You had
Space
Voyager,
Nine,
you had Deep Space
Voyager.
Nine, and you had Enterprise.
I watched some of Enterprise, some of Voyager. I didn't really like Deep Space Nine. I get a lot of shit for that when I tell
But
people
Deep
that,
Space
but
Nine was kind of dark,
I
don't you think?
don't care. It bored the shit out of me.
Hey, that's my favorite Star Trek, by the way.
Figures.
That was very predictable.
Yeah,
So
but
your favorite was Deep Space Nine, Cub?
yes, it's no secret.
You
I've
prefer
said
that
that.
over the original Star Trek, the classic Kirk, Spock, Bones,
Yes,
Yoda years down?
I prefer that over the original Star Trek because Deep Space Nine was the one that pulled me
Dark and
into.
depressing.
No, that really pulled me into Star Trek. Where I really became a Star Trek fan was because of DS9. It was not because of Next Generation. Because I rewatched Next Generation after I watched DS9. I gave Next Generation a second chance because of that. And
Interesting.
yeah, but I explained that in my Star Trek review, by the way. It's no secret that DS9 is my favorite one. But if you want to enjoy the new Picard, or at least understand the new Picard series season, the thing you have to watch, or the thing that was here blandly copied, is Wrath of Khan or not? Again.
Yes. Well, that's
Yeah.
true. And to understand Wrath of Khan, you have to watch Space Seed. To me, Space Seed and Wrath of Khan and Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, are one single viewing experience. Matter of fact, I made a DVD including all three of them. I cut out all the intermediate stuff, and I made it one movie.
Cool.
Yeah. And we have here a copy of Wrath of Khan, and also a copy of the knockoff of Wrath of Khan, of Into Darkness.
Okay, so yeah, because we have Picard finds his son. Spoiler, Cat. Picard and Beverly Crusher have a son, and the son is on the new
David.
Yeah. So,
but Greg,
and
it's
that's
not
what
really a spoiler because it's clear from the get-go. When you see him, it's in the first episode.
Well, it's a spoiler to Kat if she hasn't seen it.
I mean for Kat, because it is solved in the second episode already. It's not such a huge spoiler for the whole season or something like that. You think about it already in the first episode, it could be his son, and in the second, it's already solved. So,
okay, but what I would say about season 3 is it's leaps and bounds better than the terrible, disastrous, horrible, unwatchable dreck that is season 1 and 2, and also all of the Discovery. Horrible, 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 not watchable. They destroy the characters. You know, when Jez says that, oh, it's just nostalgia and we want to see our characters again. No, I don't know any Star Trek fans who's been happy about like Picard's return, or when we saw Troy and Riker together. They had a kid, and the kid is like malformed or whatever, and sickly, and everything's always depressing, and everything's always terrible, and they're literally chopping up babies and stuff on the show. They're torturing people and taking their eyes out. They're doing the most despicable, disgusting. You know how we were talking at the beginning of the show about those movies? That's what the new Discovery and Picard has been like. Just the most sickening, disgusting stuff you can imagine. I won't even describe it.
Let's
Is that right, Cub? Did I capture what it's been like up until now correctly, Cub?
Yes, you have captured it correctly. And now let's talk about the things that they sadly kept from this disaster. They kept, for example, this horrible storyline that you can't
with Rafi,
that you can't trust the Federation in general. The Federation,
right? The dark, depressing Federation is evil. The thing about Roddenberry is he had a hopeful vision of the future, and what people don't really realize now is that most of these shows from that time were very depressing and dark. When you look at Soylent Green or Planet of the Apes or Silent Running or Logan's Run, I could run. You name me a movie that's a sci-fi movie from the 60s or 70s that isn't kind of depressing. They're all depressing. They're usually dystopian. They're horrible, and they're hard to watch. But Star Trek was the different thing. It was the bright future that everything's going to be okay, and and the best of humanity is going to prevail, even though we went through a war.
And it was a diverse future, by the way.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, and I could agree, we have a repeat of Kirk having his kid from Wrath of Khan, and that's okay. You know, not great. I would have preferred that they didn't have this Picard kid. So far I've only seen him a little bit, and I'm not impressed. But still, it didn't make me angry. Go ahead, Cub. I'm sorry. I get.
And the negative also is we have again an exploding headquarter from the Federation with this.
I was going to get into that. That is just like Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah, which is also it's even presented in a more disrespectfully way. It's not just blown up. It's transported
and then dumped nearby.
Yeah, and dumped nearby
like trash.
Like trash. It's for me, these scenes are so horrible, and also the character, the Raffi character, gets so much screen time in the second episode. Oh my god!
Okay, the Raffi story is horrible. She's in case you probably don't know, Kat, she's like a drug addict who hates the Federation, and of course they keep tempting her with more drugs, and she has to take the drugs to prove that she's not an agent. It's one of the storylines from the first 2 seasons of Picard that they've kept for some ridiculous reason in season 3, and she's a terrible actress. I mean, she's bad.
She draws 7 of 9 down with her because she's now her lover. She's
and now they're lovers. 7 of 9, who, if you watched Voyager, was with Chakotay. And she was heterosexual. Now she's lesbian, and of course she's with the druggie, who's she spends a lot of her time just grinding on Picard because Picard didn't save everyone, and Picard didn't do this, and you did, fuck you sorry son of a bitch, rah 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 rah. Everybody does that to Picard for the first 2 seasons, and he just takes it. He's such a beta male.
And it doesn't make sense in the Star Trek universe that a nobody talks to an admiral like that.
No,
because Picard is still an admiral. We don't have to forget that. No, she wouldn't talk to him like that in normal Star Trek. Because what is she? What is she? Is she? What is her rank? Can you tell me that, Greg?
She's not the only one. Everyone talks to Picard like that. When he goes to talk to the other admiral at Starfleet, you remember? Of course, she's female. All the high-ranking people in Star Trek are now female, and he's the only male, and he's treated like a complete cuck. He's just
But Raffi, she's just a cadet or something like that. I think she.
Right. Well, so now she's an intelligence officer, but she still does drugs, and because she's forced to do drugs. Because it reminds me of like a Starsky and Hutch episode where they're like, "Oh, we need to make you got to do this drugs to make sure you're not a cop." And so Hutch becomes hooked on heroin. That's the level of writing.
Yeah, and also,
but here's one of my problems that you didn't mention about this Starfleet recruitment center being destroyed. One, this recruitment center is this major giant building, and they already had a building just like that destroyed during the previous story from Into Darkness. So if you're going to have that kind of thing that can happen, then why not have a whole bunch of little offices? You know what I mean? Because having one big one is a giant target. You've already had that target struck before, so there's really no reason to have this giant edifice the size of a small city that then gets destroyed. 2, she finds out that this place is in danger and is going to be destroyed, and she doesn't even try to call them until she's visually in range. Now think about this. We're talking, it has to be weeks or months to go from one place to another in this reality where they're going through warp drive. She would normally be trying to contact them, and if she couldn't contact them, she would call somebody else. Remember, she's Starfleet intelligence, right? And she's found out about a plot to destroy this major facility, and she doesn't do anything to contact anybody until she's literally 500 feet away from it. And then she's like,
especially
oh,
not, no, especially not her superior. She should just
not just, even if your superior doesn't. Right, she doesn't contact anybody. Why don't you have her trying to contact everybody around, and for some reason she can't get through? Literally, she doesn't even try to call these people until she's like 500 feet from them. How does that make any sense? She knows they're in danger. She knows they're about to be destroyed. She's coming. It takes her weeks to get there, and she doesn't even try to warn them.
Yeah, but don't
does that
you
make
know,
any?
No, Greg. Don't you know how telephones work? You can't talk to the other guy you are calling till you see him.
Yeah, right.
This is how
maybe they
works or not.
To me, that was ridiculous. But here's the upside. I think the season is actually pretty good as compared to the previous 2 seasons and all of Discovery.
And,
I have actually not hated it, and I've pointed out the things that I know.
But there's still a thing I want to point out. The whole Raffi storyline doesn't achieve anything for the plot because she can't prevent that the headquarters gets blown up, and then after that, she can't find anything here with her investigation. After that, on her own, she achieves nothing with that. Zero.
No, it's meaningless. They did that whole thing so that you could see the place being destroyed.
Yeah, but also her investigation after that, when she goes on her own, and she has to be saved by Worf. She doesn't achieve anything with her investigation, or with her taking drugs or whatever. It was for nothing. Because
even if she did achieve anything and find something out, like she did the first time, she doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah, but she didn't, because
the person who she does tell, her superior, who keeps talking in a female voice, that turns out to be Worf.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which doesn't make any sense. And also, this is
and remember, Kat, I'm being positive about this year. This is me being positive.
Yeah, and this is again dragging another Star Trek character down, which was not established till now, because she dragged down 7 of 9 when she was paired with her, and now she's paired with Worf even before he gets introduced. So why the hell do they put this?
It was good to see Worf, though, and Picard and Riker seem like their old selves in a lot of ways. So, and even 7 of 9 was more like she was before. If you got rid of this Raffi character and you focused more on the characters that we like, I'm thinking this could be a decent season. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but I've got a feeling that they're shedding the bad stuff as they go, and I see some hope, like I did with Strange New Worlds, which Cub disagreed with me. He didn't like a single episode. He tore me down for
let's talk.
And he's wrong. He's wrong as usual.
Let's talk about another plot line that they dragged from Wrath of Khan. At the end of the 2nd episode, they tried to escape into the nebula because the
Oh yeah, they
nebula
did.
is distracting the communications and so on, and so that the big ship is equal to the
A
small.
ridiculously overpowered ship.
Yeah, yeah, but again,
The weaponry they listed was just ridiculous.
yeah, yeah,
For
and
supposedly this isn't a ship that's built by enemy navy or world. This is supposedly just like some sort of pirate, and she's
yeah,
got more weaponry than the entire fleet.
yes, and this weaponry ship, do you know where they dragged that out of? They dragged that out of Into Darkness. If you can remember, our Admiral Robocop, he had this overpowered super ship.
Yeah,
Yeah, because where they just
I think they called it a dreadnought or something, didn't
yeah,
they?
yeah, they're just this huge ship that was overpowered beyond belief. Because the people who overpower these ships have no clue how you put weapons on a ship that makes sense. That that these ships are not just big spaces where you can fill in weapons as much as you can or something like that. They don't work like that in Star Trek. But these people they just don't care, and so you have another element. It's really like they had ripped everything from Wrath of Khan, the original and the copy. Every idea, everything. But yes, you are right. It's well made. It's which I would never say from anything before that from Kurtzman Trek. And
No, I'm
it's
shocked. Even with all the things
yeah,
I'm saying bad about it,
yeah,
I got a good feeling about it. It's much better than before. It has obviously a lot of problems, but you know, compare that to what it was before. And you were saying on Jeff's show, this reminded you of the Star Trek Next Generation movies, and I would agree with that. It's not as well made, but it has a big budget, and I just have a good feeling that we might actually have a good episode or two. We haven't had it yet, but it's not terrible. It's not unwatchable crap. It's just really bad with some decent stuff, and I'm thinking we might actually get a good story. I don't.
yes,
Maybe it's. I'm always trying to be positive.
yeah. I would say you can watch it. It's not horrible, of course. And even I'm going to on my German stream. I'm going to tell the people that they can fast forward every scene with Raffi, because if you do that,
Yeah,
you don't miss
then it's
out
much better.
anything
Yeah.
on the plot, because
Now you're right.
nothing what she does there has anything to do with the actual plot. She's just there. It has no effect on the story when you
And
just
her
fast
acting is
forward her.
terrible. The
Yeah,
actress who does this is just terrible. You know,
yeah,
I don't feel like I'm watching anything. I feel like I'm just watching a bad actress trying to fake it.
yeah. Trying to bring drama and deepness into what she's doing, making it more important than it is, because we know it's not important what she's doing. We know it because we see it. We see that she's failing anyway, and that she is achieving nothing. So it's really kind of pointless. And when in the next episodes her role is drastically shortened, uh, maybe we get a real Star Trek episode without her distraction with her, because all the other characters I kind of like. I'm okay with them. Also the new ones. this new combat.
I've got a good feeling about it.
Yeah,
With all the bad stuff I've said, this is way better than what we've had before. So if we can end it on a positive note. We went over 3 hours now, and Cub, he's pretty sick, and it's well, it's probably 11 after 11 there in Germany now.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, well, let's end it here. So
Get well, Cub.
I would say thanks for joining us here for the audience, and thanks for joining us, Kat and Greg. And we are going to stream again in 2 months, as usual, in the last Sunday of the month of April.
The last Sunday of what? That'd be April.
April.
Okay.
Hopefully, Kat will be back with us, and maybe we'll have Bazzil or Jez or somebody as well.
Yeah, that would be nice. So I'm saying bye to the audience.
Good night.